Morning, team. Morning, everyone. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? All right, lots to get through here. I'm not feeling 100%. I went out for dinner last night, and whatever I ate decided to not react with me too well. Covered in rashes at 1 a.m. last night, so I don't know what that was, but there we go. Too much histamine. Okay, so we'll see if I even trade today, but let's get you prepared either way. All right, overnight we hit the 400s. All right, we were looking for those 400s to see if we were going to bid off it. All right, we talked about it all week long, really, that drift down to 400s, and then to see if this setup would play out. All right, this setup right here is what we've been looking for this week, and there you go. That was the move into 400 and the move off 400s right here. All right, which we planned 2-3 days ago. All right, you can see yesterday, and we planned the move to 400s before. All right, so we've had the main move that we'd want to see, and on the daily now we're traveling back up towards the edge of that range. So if we think about the range, all right, this is most of the range. The question we're going to ask is very simple now. Is this going to be a look below and failure, or are we going to now see a continuation trade? Now that continuation trade means we're going to have to reject the edge of this range. It's pretty simple, isn't it? We have to reject the edge of this range up to sort of 785, 800s, all right? Based on volume. All right, if we start rejecting that, we have thin profile that we can fill on the current year all the way, or the last 12 months, all the way down to 24.2s and 24. All right, so that's the question I'm posing today. On a Friday, we're asking, hey, all you bulls, are you really willing to hold over the weekend or not? Or is this going to be a repeat of last week and a sell into the close? All right, so that's what we're watching to see how that operates. We can dial in some of these levels a bit more on the hourly. All right, so if we think about this move, we've been in a failure off this high. All right, we trap bulls from Monday to Wednesday. We leave that area on Thursday. We continue lower. We come right into this blue box, which we had planned out yesterday, which is where our ultimate target was. You might have seen I had a discussion on Twitter that I thought we would come into it overnight. Surprise, surprise, we did. And we've also completed the 618 pullback. All right, so if we go from low of week, high of week, we've come into the golden pocket and returning back into mean right now. You can see this is the contested zone. All right, that's a hugely contested zone. So the question I have is this going to be sort of a liquidity take of these 30s and 50s? You can see some stops up here on an hourly. Are we going to take that and come back down into this range? Do we then chop all the time here? Do we find a second leg higher? Do we lose this underside of this 550s for the drift down to hit? All of these are possible, right? These are all possible. If it wants to go straight, scream and squeeze, it can come up to 900s if it wants. We can absolutely do it, right? Thin in here, all right? So we're watching these pivots. It's very, very key what happens. I'd say this is your first level of supply up into sort of 750s. If you take it or reject it, we're going to come back into the rotation, which is this grey box, same box as yesterday, which is 650 to 570. If you start losing 570, there's either a look below and fail and a trade inside, or a look below, a reject, and a trade back down to 400. All right, these, let me do the pathings for you, so make it real simple. All right, it's this, and maybe even this. All right, it is this all day, or is underneath and failure, or underneath, reclaim and squeeze. All right, but these are the levels we're watching. Right, these three boxes: red, grey, blue. Over red, we can squeeze up further. So that's what we're watching today, folks. All right, gamma wise, you can see we're right into neutral territory. All right, so positive, possibly going positive on a Friday here for the 0 DTEs, which would allow this squeeze up, all right, to previous week point of control if they can. All right, so if they hold zeros, if they get over 7.5, 7.6s and find acceptance, they can get into previous week point of control, which are the cool walls. All right, if they go on a mega squeeze, like I said, they can come up to 900s. I'd find it amazing if they got to 25,000 today, but there we go. Right, if they pop and fail and we come under this grey box, we will go into negative gamma, which lines up with what we're thinking under the grey box for the drive back down to here. And if we really get heavy, 24,000s. All right, make it very, very simple. So we're at a sensitive area at the open for it to make a decision. All right, you can see this grind up. All right, there's your double bottom. All right, failing to break lower. There's your pivot on the W, and that is the start of the squeeze after hitting the 400s. And there we go. From there, straight back into red box. Amazing that, isn't it? All planned out beforehand. These are the same boxes we've had on for days. Why you must trade key levels. So any of you overnight, this was your trigger long right here. All right, that's your trigger long right there, all the way up. This is a clean out. You could take a scalp short there. Now you're waiting to see what happens. All right, let's get through some of these other charts. All right, ES is going to be the same story here, folks. All right, came into its key pivot. 6/7s is key. 6/7s. We're at 6/7s. All right, let's see if it can hold that sort of 6/7, 6/705 and force that squeeze up to 6/755. All right, top of this pivot. Otherwise, if we're going to fail or take liquidity here and fail, right, that rotation back down to 6/6/8 and then 6/655 is going to be easy to see on the spiders as always. All right, we're back into this over under. Look, the 6/70s. We talked about the importance of this 6/70s. Why? It's been a pivot so many times in this range. All right, so is this going to be yet another look below and fail and reclaim, or is this drive up going to be resold into to come back down? That's the question. So the 670, 671 becomes absolutely key here on spiders. And guess what? For Qs, it's the 600, right? We've talked about it. Same level on Qs, right? We're right back to that key level. Remember, the biggest wall for 15 years, this level. All right, so do we see downside pressure, or is this a look below and fail after hitting a 61 fib for a squeeze up? I don't know yet. I just know that this is the level that matters. So we've got to let them make a decision. Either this, or if they really want to be arseholes, this all day. All right, all of these possible. All right, Dixie, over the hundreds. All right, so this thing's ripping faces, can afford a pullback, but over the hundreds now. Short's getting squeezed out of this right now. VIX, still at 25, still in the high side of this channel, pulling back to this choppy range that we created earlier in the week. We are in positive gamma on higher time frames on the VIX. So if they want to come up to 30s, they can, all right? They would need to break 27, 28s to get to 30s. If they're going to drift this whole thing down after rejection of 28s, we come 21s. That would be a very positive day for the market if we do that. All right. Apple, trying to reclaim the range. Same story as Qs, right? Low of week, drive up, 61 fib. Can we reclaim this for this move back into 60s? Or is this a cup and handle that's about to be sold off? We're about to find out. We are about to find out here. Amazon, same story, right? Back to where we started. There's Monday, all the way back to it. Are they willing to hold it? Do they have the power to come and test 12s? If not, is that your extension? All right, are we creating liquidity for the extension on the mag right now? Goog, much stronger. All right, much stronger. There's Monday's low, grind up, wash these stops out, starting to retest this range. Any hold of 304s and 302s, looking for upside. We start losing 300s, you get a bigger downside move. But it's held this 300. We talked about the 300 earlier in the week. It's held it yesterday. It's a strong move. It looks much better than the other stocks so far, I'd say. Meta, horrible. Absolutely horrible. There was news that came out this morning about, was it called Avocado? There you go. Yeah, Avocado AI model being rolled out March to May. They didn't like that, right? So they sold it. They were like, no, what the fuck is Avocado model? Why do we need more AI? We're trying to stop AI spend. All right, so any pot up here into 37, 38s is probably going to see weakness and they're going to attack the lows. Reclaim 37s, and there's a squeeze back up to 50s. Not in one day necessarily, but that's what they're looking at. Microsoft, still in the grind down. Remember, we've had relative weakness in Microsoft this year and end of last quarter because it's software, right? But we started to find a bid with software. There's your W holding the top of this range into this territory here. 50%, I'd say, pullback from here to here. 50% pullback. Can it hold 402s, 400 for a re-squeeze? All right, is this bullish momentum? All right, are they building stops in here for the re-squeeze? If we lose 400, 395, and 388 very quickly. So far looks okay into these sort of 400 areas. That's your over under right now. Nvidia, pretty good job, not too dissimilar, right? There's your pivot from before. So breakout held, liquidity build, coming back down. All the time we're able to hold 82s. That's a strong pivot for that move back to 190s. Lose 82s and we reprice Monday's range. Remember, this is Monday's squeeze out. Lose 82s, we probably reprice it. But at the moment, it looks bullish. So I'd say the MAG are in a bit of a mixed bag here. Tesla coming back up for the 400s. We talked about this level as well. This is all the same. There's the break. There's the squeeze. There's the back test of the breakout. Can we hold 95s, reclaim 400s for a re-squeeze into where these buyers are trapped, right? 405. So if you got long 95s or if you got long on Monday, you need this to hold 95s, reclaim 400 for a 405 test. It will probably see weakness at 405 because you've got buyers trapped. Unless we go on a very bullish day, I wouldn't imagine we're going to do that. But, you know, Tesla has its own mind sometimes, especially into expiries. All right, you can have a look at a couple of softwares. Oracle, still okay, same kind of level. You can see the yellow line from yesterday or early in the week. Breakout, retest, waiting to see if it can hold this for a re-squeeze. AMD, sub 200 now. All right, trap buys at the highs. Drive out, coming back into this liquidity pool. Any rejection of 201, 202s, you're going to see downside pressure. Netflix, I'm still waiting for this to come further back in before I add to my position. I'd love it to come back down into this sort of pocket down here. Might not make it, might only make 91s, 90s, but my eyes are on it. I have it up all the time, watching it. All right, and that's that. That is that. Nice and easy today, folks, based on where we're opening. Do not force yourself into this market. It will punish you. Did any of you get the 400 longs? That's all that really matters. Those 400 longs were fantastic. Right, we had you prepared for that. Let's have a look at the economic calendar today. What have we got coming up later? 13th. Yes, job openings, consumer sentiment, 10 o'clock. Right, 10 o'clock. Let me just have a look. PCE came out in line, year over year, tiny bit under. Index in line, year over year in line on that. Durable goods, a 0 print. Is that right? I don't have a little read on that. So job openings are what's going to matter. And imagine they're not very good. I'd imagine the job openings are not very good because they haven't been good for a while. You caught the first bull leg, Dave? Nice. Peter got it? Nice. Well done, folks. Well done, folks. Yeah, we had you ready for that all week. Eco got it. Nice. Oh, tired. Man, that whatever that was that I ate. Oh my God, my ankles were on fire. My wrists were on fire. My neck was bright pink. It was like a toxin in something. It wasn't very fun. All right, folks. So not very long left here, 30 seconds. Make sure you're fit and able to trade if you're going to trade today. Make sure you're fit and able. I'll be watching very simply. Do they hold dips in here for a redrive higher? Do we get stuck in here and lose this bid in here for that wash back down? That's what I'm going to wait for this morning just to see how we operate. Smash that like button nice and early. We'll do some nice giveaways later. Let's keep chat nice and positive. All right, it's a Friday. No one needs stress on a Friday. Let's be nice and happy and go from there, shall we? All right, so here's the attempt of the squeeze back towards previous day value area high, which will be 700s if you're in this, and you'd want it to maintain holding a bid here. And if it gets through the 700s, they'll try and clean out 750s. If we reject 700s, we probably come back down into 600s. While it just chops around and figures itself out. All right, complete mixed bag in the mag just to make this extra hard. All right, Tesla 0.81% up, Nvidia 1% up, Microsoft 0.5% down, Meta 3% down, Google 1% up, Amazon pretty much flat, Apple pretty much flat, a little bit down, 0.17% down. All right, so mixed bag. I think we want to test previous day value area high at 700s here and then make a mind up, but we have already cleared it out. Let's say we can come and clear 740, 750 if it wants on a squeeze, and then we can. It'd be good if it could do that because there's gone less reason to go higher afterwards, and then we can sort of make a decision of what we might want to do as a market. Let's get a little bit of volume on here. There we go. All right, so this New York Open now key, and you can see previous day value and previous week value key. All right, these are where they will want to hold dips. Extension would be over this, and this would be the clear out of liquidity. The chop can rotate from here. It might well be a choppy day. Ideally not, but you know, Asia did have, or London at least, had a very good trade off those 400s. I'm very jealous. Buying the course over the weekend? You're a goat. Thanks, man. I always think the word goat is so funny, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Look forward to working with you. I use affordable indicators for copy trading. Look at this chop, just aggressive chop on the book above me right now. I don't know what they want to do. Mag, completely mixed. Where are we at the VIX? VIX trading 25s. Back down into that chop range on the VIX, all right, from sort of Tuesday. Yeah, man, the VIX has been really messy. I'd say from that Tuesday pin high of 26s down to the Wednesday afternoon pin low or morning pin low of 24s. We have done nothing but chop that range. We had the chance to hold above 26s in that drive out Thursday, and we've come right back down into it. No Discord with the volume course, unfortunately. Just with the beginner to advanced course. All right, let me zoom in and watch this. Probably won't answer questions for the next 5-10 minutes, folks. I just want to see how we build this liquidity, so I'm aware of what's going on the book. It looks like they're trying to get up to these 700s at the moment for a clear out, but it's very, very, very messy. Yeah, they're trying to get up to these 700s to clear the book out up there. Is there anyone up at 750s? Let me just have a quick look. There's 37s and there's 50s. Yeah, so we are trying to get up to 700 and 750s. That's what we're trying to do. Here's the move to 7s. See if I can grab a little piece into 7s. Yeah, nice. Just a little scalp to start the day. And if we get through 7s, I'll see if we can get up to 750s on a runner. Here's 7s. So I'm long up to here to pay myself a little bit. It's small size just to start the day. It's just for a clear out because we can very easily fail previous day's value area high. Remember, this was premium from yesterday. That's why it's red. I'm just playing the momentum in front of me here. Just small size for that move up. Failing 7s. And out now. So paid myself into 7s. Just a scalp to start the day there. Just based on what I can see on the tape. We're seeing sellers come in at 80s now, trying to protect it. And the chop continues. The thing with the short is, as much as I'd like it, I'd prefer we'd go and clean out the highs. We've cleaned out some of them, but on an hourly, I would prefer if we'd clean out these guys here first, 750. Right, if I'm looking for the short, I'd almost rather take that liquidity rather than just this first little guy, take the 750s and then turn around and come down. So pop up to here and then turn around into this thin profile, maybe even up to 800 and use that as protection, but we're not seeing that yet. We're seeing chop. Back down to the New York Open. And if they fail, if that was it, if it was just like, let's tap previous day value area high, no, there's no acceptance over here, then, you know, they can technically come straight down to previous day point of control and previous day value area low. And we'll make sure that my can't talk this morning, so how tired I am, lines up properly. Yeah. Is that value area low? Come on, Ninja Trader. Yes, it is. 590s. Yeah, perfect. All right, here we go. So from value area high to point of control, it's happening in one go. So they're doing it now. I missed this because I was trying to sort my Ninja Trader chart out. All right, so here's previous day point of control coming up. So there's rejection of previous day's value. So I took a long little squeeze up out at the top, covered break even. Now we're going to come back down and check previous day point of control. So we're going from premium to fair value. If we lose fair value, we're going to go to discount, and then either the trap or the resell. All right, one of these two things is about to take place. So there's previous day point of control here. And if they lose this, we probably go value area, previous day value area low, which is also 24-hour view up down here somewhere. So into the 6s. So if you got that, I mean, we did just talk about it. I'm not in it. I got caught moving my levels on NinjaTrader. But you should be covering a good chunk of it here into the 6s. All right, you just tapped into previous day point of control and previous week value area low, and then you've got previous day value area low below that. And if they catch a bid here, they're going to squeeze straight back up and they're going to try and attack 650s. So you've got a range here, very, very clear range has been developed now. And weakness will come underneath the grey box. The gap fill is down here as well, but we won't see true weakness on this time frame, right, until we get a rejection of this. Right, we are in a range rotation between these right now. That's your box. And we rejected value and we came down to fair value. We're finding a bid. Here's the move back to 50s. We just talked about this move back to 50s. And hopefully you can see how I'm using the book. And if we get through 50s, we're going to go and tack 60s on the day. And if we get through 60s, we're going to go straight back to 700. And this is the range rotation. Right, hopefully you're seeing this as I'm talking about it. So here's the 60s chest, and if we get through this, we're going 70s, and through 70s, we go back to high of day. So just a rotation of previous day's value. They're just checking levels right now, right? They're checking levels. That's how I picture it in my head. They came up and they said, hey, is premium going to be too cheap today, or is it still premium? No, it's premium. Okay, fail. Okay. Is fair value still fair value today? Yeah, okay, great. Is fair value on the day fair value today? We're about to make a decision, right? We chop here. If it's too cheap, they come back to premium. If it's too expensive, they come back down to discount, right? And this is the rotation. That's why we're talking about a rotational market. Understand what type of market you're in. What kind of market does Alex hate the most? Oh yeah, a rotational market. I can see it. I just don't like it. I love continuation. I love looking for those 100, 200, 300 point trades. Okay, so rejection of current day's value. Right, and they're going to come and test these 50s. And if they lose 50s, we're going to go straight back down to 20s again. If they bid 50s, they try and go back through 60s, 70s, and 700s. Here we go. So 60s, 70s, and now really they should squeeze to 700s. They should get over 85s now and squeeze to 700s. And if they get through 700s, they look for the 750s for that clear out which they failed to do earlier in the day. Right, here's the 80s, and they should come for 700s now, really. All right, all bids now should be held versus 70, and they should be trying to get to 700s. That's what buyers should try to do. So you wouldn't want to see this below, definitely not below 65s now. All right, because they've done a lot of hard work here to get up. Mag still complete mixed bag here. All right, so Tesla just under 0.5% up. Nvidia 1% up, Microsoft 0.1% down, comes to 700 check, Meta 2.71% down, Google 0.5% up, Amazon 0.17% down, and Apple basically flat 0.5% down. Okay, that was the 700 check. You came just shy of it, so there's a bit of front running. And they would want to hold dips into 60s now. If they lose dips into 60s, we go right back to the other side of the range. So they lose 60s, we go 50s. They lose 50s, we go 20s. And the rotation continues. But bulls will want to step in here at 60s and 70s. They won't want to lose that because they know they will fail the rotation at that point. They're trying, man. They're trying. They're trying to get 700 and 750s, right? So that was the dip down towards the 60s. You hit 67s. And they're trying to get 700 break to get 750s. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build enough liquidity in here to rotate. But again, we're in a range in here, right? These are your key levels, right? So bulls tried to defend this. They're now going to try and do this move here. If they fail here again, we come back down, which we've just done. If we lose this, right, they try and defend this. If we lose this, we come right back down to here. Right, that's the battle taking place right now in the range rotation. I will watch now to see if they want to hold this for a squeeze. See if we can get long. Here's the 700 check. Through 700s, it's got a chance to go 750s. They've got to clear out 700s. So I'd say through 700s, where's these imbalances? 715, 720, 725, and then 750. So I'm just waiting to see if I can get a little bit of size if they're going to hold dips. What's the time? We've got 20 minutes left. We've got time to do it. We've got time for the clear out. 700s is key though. So if you're long in this, you want to pay yourself into 700s and then hold runners for the 750s. And if we are able to then hold a bid on a 700 to 750 rotation, there's a chance of a move to 810s. And I'm not going to rule out a move to 900s, but 810s would be the next level through 750. Here we go, 700s check. So big level here. Long in this squeeze up now and see if we can clear out. Paying myself into 700, beautiful. All right, let's see how much more juice they've got, if any. So we want to hold this now. We want to see if we can go and rip some faces. 715, 725, 750. Really good. Here's 715s through the first imbalance. Here's 725, second imbalance. We would like to get through this in one shot because these are sell side imbalances. If we can get through this, we can go 750, 810s. All right, we will be paying ourselves in these moves because these are imbalances. So just got a small piece left now. And if we are able to rebid and rehold, I can always add back in. Love to see 750 get swiped here. And we come to the top side of the box, right? We're looking to take out 750s. Nice squeeze into 25s. The only thing left now is 750s. All right, there's a guy at 40s, but in real liquidity terms, it's 750s and 810s. That's what we're looking for. And we now want to hold all dips into 700 because they've done so much work to get up there. Here we go. Is the push to 50. So I'm getting ready to TP some more. Running out of size here. And you do want all dips to hold 700. So you can pay yourself here. It's a bit of a battle here. I would like this to hold 700 and complete the rotation to 750s. That's what I'm now looking for. Dips to hold 700 to complete a rotation to 750s. Paid myself no matter what. All right, no matter what. You're long at 643. It's a great long. Reclaim of New York Open. It's a really good long, that, mate. Very, very good. Once we held point of control in previous week value, reclaim New York Open. That's a very, very good long. Here we go. Here comes 740s, 750s. All right, so if you've got some, you can take some here, and then we're going to look for 810s. We're going to look for 810s now. We're going to look to get into this box up here. So TP1 hit. Oh, my days. Like clockwork, this market. It's so nice that it's behaving again. All right, really good. 750s. Let's see if we can go 810s now. So I joined a little bit later there, once we held this shelf. And still, really nice. We're approaching 100 points. Forget whoever got it at the Reclaim New York Open. Beautiful trade, my friend. Beautiful trade. Much better entry than me. And we'll see if we get 810s now. We will see. Fantastic. Squeeze coming in here. Looks really good. Right, move your stop. For me, I'm moving my stop aggressively now up because this is a straight squeeze from 700s, or really technically from 93. So this is approaching 100-point squeeze. Another day of 100-point trade on stream. Thanks very much. All right. Big participant here coming in at 57s. Right, just be careful. 182 lot seller at 57. So I'm marking that out and mentally noting 57s. I want to stay above 57s. I do not want him to be in the money. The moment he's getting squeezed, but if we come under him and then stay heavy versus him, it might be the end of the move up. So I'm marking out 57s in my head. It's a big over-under now based on that huge seller that came in. And he tried to sell again. So in that area, we have about 400 lots around 60s. All right, his average price is around 60s, about 400 lot seller there. He's currently underwater. So I want to stay above 60s if possible. Right, squeeze up to 800s where we have liquidity. So I'm not going to risk it coming under 60s. Well, 57s. Maybe I'll risk it to 53s. I'll move my stop to 53s. We've got a micro shelf there to give it a little wiggle. I really don't want it under 60s. I want to complete this rotation before the top of the hour. Here we go into the 810s. Here's 800s coming up. Just beautiful. Just Beautiful. We planned this out, didn't we? We talked about this before the open. We stick to the plan. Let it shake out, see what it wants to do with value, then we attack. Here come the 810s. There's squeeze potential based on the options market, 820 and 860. I'm looking for 810s here. Very, very close, and I'm probably going to take TP here if I'm honest. If I see a wiggle here, I'm going to be all out. All right, for me, not going to be a dick for a tick. I'm taking that. I'm not going to be a dick for a tick. I'm out. This can keep going. There's no doubt about it, but this is the trade plan I was looking for. I'm going to stick to that, wait for a reload. For me, that's as good as 810s. We just hit as good as 810s there. 805, not going to be dick over 5 points. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. W's in chat if you caught it. If you're still holding this, ideally 770s will hold for you. Again, I'm out now. I've made my money there. That's the trade I wanted. If 770s hold, great, but 760s have to hold for you. If you lose 760s, that's where the big, big, big seller is, all right? So buyers will want to keep that seller trapped. Nice. Look at all these W's in chat. Fucking love it, man. Love it on a Friday. Nice, positive chat, making money together. Is there a better way to go about your day before the weekend? I don't think so. I don't think so. Catching 100+ points together, there's no better feeling. There is no better feeling. And I've listened to some absolute tripe recently on like how people should trade. There's some nonsense out there at the moment. Absolute nonsense being spouted in YouTube videos and stuff. I mean, there's lots of ways to trade, but this market's giving lots of potential to hold into key areas, to have trades like this which set you up. These set you up for the day. All right, here's the 770 check that we talked about. You'd want 770, 760 to hold if you're still long for the continuation. That's your opening range line, that white line now. Again, I don't love a new money long up here because we've had a big squeeze out. It's very possible we keep going, folks, like we talked about. This is the area on the H1 we expected it to come to, all right? If we broke, remember the H1, this is so important, so important. If we held this level, we expect the rotation into 700s. If we break 700s, we expect the clean out of 750s. If we get through 750s, we expect the previous week point of control 810 check. If they now want to do this rotation for a bit, they can. If they want to continue this squeeze and be very violent, we can come right back into 900s. Like I said, it's very possible we can do that today. But I would need this. For me to get that, I'd need a reload here and to see this, right? I'm not going to add up here for me personally. All right, I'd need to see a reload down here somewhere. This is the move I wanted today if I was going to play this side, so I'm done with it. That's just me being honest with you. Right, here's the check to 60s. This is a very big level. If you lose 60s, I'd be very careful. It's where the big seller came in, all right? It's absolutely where the big selling came in. And show you him right here. Look at the difference in size. Look at the difference in this size. 400+ lot seller right here, all right, into 57. This is a massive level. If you lose 57s, look how thin you are, right back down to 700s. This is why this is huge. They have to hold this, the buyers, otherwise I would be out. Look, we've just tapped him. They must keep this seller trapped to continue higher, otherwise you get a big old flush to 700s. Right, so hopefully you're learning to see what I'm seeing, why I'm looking at very specific key levels to hold, and if they fail, why I think we rotate. So if we fail this, there's a good chance of a move to 700 at this point. All right, so if they fail this, this can happen very, very quickly because this is straight up. It can come straight back down. So we're testing this 57s here. Again, I'm not in a position now. I've made my money. The long trigger was in this hold here. There's your buy signal, right? But up towards the 810s. I'm not a dick for a tick, so I've taken it. And you might come right back down into this pool of liquidity here right now. Right, a re-trigger long would be any sort of hold down here or hold here, which reclaims the 57s for that squeeze. Until then, I would leave it alone at this point. For me personally. Oh. All right, so they need to get back above 60s. If they're going to do the trap, they've got to get back above the 60s and really back above 70s for strength. If they're going to do the trap. Nice work, team. Nice work. All right, for me, I'm just going to let this chill out for a minute. We've got 10 minutes to news. Do I think we can complete the rotation? Yeah, I think we can. Do I think we could get up into here? But This, remember, when I do previous day point of control or previous week point of control, so I do a grey box. It's an area, right? It's an area. I'm not going to be a dick over it when we're squeezing that high, right? For me, I'm going to take the profits. If I see that wiggle, I take the profits. Then I'm not going to be a dick over it. But we now need, bulls will need a reclaim of 60s and 70s for the next move. This can be, all right, this can be an RBS zone. Absolutely, it can be, right, an RBS zone. But something like this, and actually I would want to see something like this. I'd need the reclaim here to feel confident about that move. Remember, sellers are in control from 60s. This shelf here, sellers are in control from there. I can mark it out for you. Right, sellers are in control currently from here. They came in and hammered it. They were early, right? We understand they were early. The sellers came in. If I move this to a 1 minute, is it going to fuck it all up for me? Oh no, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up because I need it on my side monitor. No, great. There we go. Right, sellers came in. I don't know why I can't see it on the big lot. Okay, they came in here. It's 400 lot there. I don't know why I can't see it, but that's where they came in. Right, so this shelf here becomes important. We reclaim 60s and squeeze and hold 70s. Right, if we squeeze and hold 70s, then there's a repush higher at that point. So here's the 60s. They're trying to come up and test 70s now. I've got to sort this chart out now. Trying to teach you, and then I lose all my order flow. Here we go. So seller came in at the low of this 5 minute candle at 45s, got stuck. All right, so here's the check of 70s. If they get back over 70s, there's a chance of a re-squeeze higher. All right, this is the big level, 60s and 70s. If they reclaim this, there's a chance of a re-squeeze higher. So this is where sellers must defend 60s and 70s. Buyers will want to get back over 60s and 70s. For me, I'm leaving it alone. I either want to see a print and hold over 70s or dip down to 700 and see how we act there. All right, so for me, I need to see one of two things, either a second leg lower and this bid or this. All right, that's what I would wait for. I'm not going to bid in here. I'm definitely not bidding against that level. I need a reclaim of that level, right? A reclaim of that level. It might be, it doesn't give me a reclaim and it does a boner candle. That just means trade doesn't set up for me. So there's some selling up here. They're trying to soak it. They're trying to sell versus 70s at the moment. Can see them on the tape trying to protect 70s because they know if they lose that, we go 800s. They know if we lose this, we go 800s. Here's the push. If they do it in one move, I can't get it. All right. If they do it in one straight squeeze, I can't get it. I need dips to come back in now. I said this might very well happen. If they do it in one move, I can't get it. I need this to come back to 70s and hold really to be able to play this move that we just talked about. So we have to watch now. This dip back in needs to hold 70s and 60s. It's trying to hold that level. Tempted to get a little piece on here because it's not going to come down far enough. Let's watch if we can get a fill here. Watch how we act at 70s. Here's the retest of 70s. 70s a little bit lower. I want to see them hold 70s and 60s, and if they rebid, I will get long. Watching this now. Little tickle long here. Little tickle long. Don't want to see failed follow through, but this is what we just talked about. I drew it out for you. So now I'm looking for a tickle long here. I've got a fill here into 75 or 76. So I'm one long here at 76. I want to see if we can break out through 800. We need to be aware of this news coming. So looking for 800, 810s, and then we can keep going. I'm not going to risk much on this because we're long the 70s. I want it to protect 70s really. It can afford to come down to 60s. If we lose 60s, I'm out. So I'll give it sort of 12 points. And we're looking for that squeeze through 810s ideally. And if we fail up here, need to be very careful because it'd be failure to follow through. And this is what I'm looking for. Playing with house money, see if we can get the move. If we can't get the move, so be it. Be failed to follow through, and that's okay. We just cut it. So if I lose 10, 12 points after a 100+ point ripper, it's fine. Okay, here we go. I want to see this clean out this book now. I want to see clean out 800s, 810s. Come on, lots of selling up here into 800. Can't get through it yet. Here we come. They're coming for these 800s. Can we clean it out? No, still passive selling, still coming into these 70s. Again, our risk down to 60s. Whoa, it literally came to tap my level at that seller. One more wick down and I'm out. I'm out now. Gave it a chance, failed to follow through. Can still look for the same thing if it sets up again. Might need to build up more rotation here. So took what, a 12-point loss? Oh, they're going to reclaim it in one go after taking my by a tick, are they? Or more than a tick, a couple points. 10 points in fairness. They might need the second leg lower to 700s. We've got news coming, remember, folks. We have news coming. So 100-point winner, 10, 15-point loss on that last one, trying to play the momentum, give them a chance to do it. ES back to VWAP and holding VWAP. Spiders back into 71s. They won't want to come back to the neutral point of 70s. QQQ is more extended. We're over 600. We're positive gamma. We haven't got into the 604, 605, which we expect. So it might just need to build out some more liquidity here before we get that move. So it's possible if they need to lose 60s and 70s, we come 700. I'm not going to play the short. I'm going to wait to see how we act down there if we do come down there. And I'm probably not going to take the re-trigger at the highs now because we failed up there. So really this needs to visit 700s now to get me interested in a long. And I'm going to get rid of this now. And I'll just put a little shelf in here. Get out of my way, mouse. There we go. There we go. I'll watch this level here. Here we come, coming into it now. So it's coming for it. Come on, finish the rotation down at this point. Failed follow through, finish the rotation down, and then let's see what you got. Come on, don't you dare do a wiggle here. You got to complete this now, otherwise I can't get interested in the long. You bugger. Get down, get down there at this point. I'm not in the short, I'm looking for the long. All right, so I looked for the long here. I stuck to my thesis. They had the chance to do it here. All right, they set it up. So we were long here, stopped out under this guy here. All right, now they've rejected this guy. They should come down into this, maybe even this. And I'm going to watch to see if they want to do this rotation here, especially if we're going to be a rotational day. Big buyer there. Yeah, there was a huge buyer there. 500 lot at 40s. It was a big buyer there. Imagine they use him for pain to come lower. You'd think so anyway. Somewhat odd if they didn't. They didn't complete this move. They're trying. They're trying to come and test these sort of 700 levels. Here they come. Almost there, folks. So into VWAP, 700s. I'm going to watch 700s and 670s to see if we trap sellers down here. Is what I'm watching for. And also news coming here in 5 seconds, folks. Be aware of that. News coming in 5 seconds. It might get a lift here. All right, so here into the 700s. And we can watch the same guys above, 57s. This might be the move that they want to do to squeeze it. So watching 57s here. So it might have been the wiggle. We'll see. Didn't quite get the 700s, but we did get VWAP. And they're reclaiming 57s, or they're trying to reclaim 57s for this squeeze. So trying to see. Same kind of move now. You buggers. You absolute buggers. You just had to do the wiggle into news. All right. Watching 57s, 70s, and 80s. Trying to get long for a re-squeeze up if we can get through all of this. So I wanted long here. Would have been nice if they came into here. Now we're back to here. This might set up. Don't love it as much second time round, right? Because now we've got buyers caught over this who bought like me but were unwilling to stop out. All right, stubborn buyers.
right, might still get stopped out or become sellers up there. So got to be careful. We've not really completed the rotation all the way down if it wants to come all the way down. And 20s come in. I give this a chance to come down towards 700s and 660s here if it wants to. Mag still completely mixed. Tesla 1% up, Nvidia 1% up, Microsoft 0.16% down, Meta 2% down, Google 0.75% up, Amazon pretty much flat, 0.08% down, Apple same, 0.05% down. So we take those out of the way. You've got 1, 2, 3 stocks positive. You've got 1, 2, 3 stocks basically flat, near enough. And then you've got Meta with the weakness on that AI news. Right, watching 700, 680s or 660s, sorry. 700, 680s, 660s to see how we act down here. To see if this is where they want to catch a bid, if at all. It might be that all they wanted to do was come into previous weak point of control and fail it. And they can come right back down into this node down here if they want. They can absolutely come down here. So I'm watching to see if buyers step in here or here. And if they don't, then I'll watch for that short back down. I'm not going to get short before it. I'm going to let this come in. At the moment, just seems like a range rotation day again. And if Mo's in chat, are you buying 700s, Mo? Are you buying 700s again, Mo? Week number 6 of Mo buying 700s. All right, so waiting to see. Might fail under 700s. Going to watch 680s, 660s here to see if they rebid anywhere down there or not. 680s, 660s for a rebid. And if they don't rebid, we can go right back down to 600s, which would be the 24-hour VWAP down there, and lower time frame algo, and the low of day. So I'd say buyers have got to come in pretty soon, otherwise they're going to get themselves in trouble. So one big winner, one small loss, nothing else since. Why do you think we'd care about the news? Why do you think we would price in a JOLTS number right now? Why would we move the market on something like JOLTS? I don't think we'd care about news like that given the macro environment going on. Okay, so there's a hold of 700s. Remember, sellers are in control. Where's that grey box gone? Your levels are here right now. Sellers are in control all the time. We're under these nodes at the moment, off the highs. That's why buyers are stuck. They're going to try. They will try and revisit some of these. So they're going to try and revisit 646. What's this? 57 again. So we're seeing if buyers want to step in here. They're trying to get this squeeze up. So if we push, reclaim, and base, I'm interested long. Otherwise, we're in a downtrend here off the high with buyers stuck at the highs. So just trying to give this a chance to see what it wants to do. Give it some room to see what it wants to do, because we can absolutely revisit 660s still. They are still selling pops right now until I see sellers get trapped at the lows. We have a little bit trapped, but it's only like a 57 lot, sub 700s. Not a lot trapped down there yet. There was good excess down there. Some absorption taking place here. So here's the visit. Here's the 640s. This is perking my interest now. Big buyers coming in here for this squeeze up. So that might be it. We will watch now. 640s. If they reclaim, this is point of control currently. Rejection 640s so far of today's point of control. It's not for you, but for me on Ninja based on Delta, this just became POC down here. We see rejection, POC. So 640, 700 rotation. It's Perked my interest. I'm wondering if we need to come 680s at the moment, though. Just trap those buys into 640. Sellers coming through now, 700. They're looking for 700 break and snap here. They're getting very aggressive down here at these lows this time. This is more like it. 200 lot plus piling in. So they're looking for the 700 snap. We're seeing some absorption, but their buyers are bidding all the way down to 680s and 660s. So they might want to be filled lower at the moment. But this is a big level. Previous day value area high. Buyers are trying to absorb here. Sellers are trying to get aggressive here. I'm still not in a position. I want to let them shake out here. They're building out quite a lot of liquidity in this area pretty quick. Sellers now trying to absorb these buyers that are trying to protect 700s. Someone's going to get hurt here soon enough. A lot of liquidity here. Oh, do I keep saying 640s? I'm sorry, 740s. Apologies. Yes, 700 to 740s is the rotation currently. We lose 700s, they're going to check 660s. We reclaim 740s, right? Then they're going to check 757s again. All right, but 740, 700. Sorry if I was saying sixes. I do apologize. Is the current rotation. Basically, the grey boxes, right? Right, so buyers are caught in these grey boxes. So sellers are trying to use those as sell pressure to get down into here, right? But this is a big level, right? It's probably a 61 fib, I would imagine, in here, or at least 50, right? So buyers are trying to protect this right now, and they're trying to get this move up here. Sellers just want to keep doing leg down. See if they've gone leg down, leg down, leg down. That's what the sellers are doing. This is a huge battle zone here. Huge. Just letting this sort of shake out. This is no similar to the start of the day. Let them shake out a bit. Watching the high time frame options there, see where they're at. Okay. So maybe a move to 660s here. 680s, 660s coming. Here's the 680s. So maybe 660s now. And if the buyers can't protect that, you're going to see a low of day. Big selling coming in here. Big selling. ES with relative weakness by the looks of it. Yes, absolutely relative weakness here on ES, coming back down to its low of day already. And 24-hour VWAP down there at the 700s. And I would say there's a big wall here at 705s. On the spiders, if you don't reclaim 670 soon on the spiders, you're negative gamma and you're in trouble. So it could be the sell-off into the weekend if they don't reclaim this soon. And that's 600. Remember, QQQ, 600. That's your over-under right now. We're drifting into it. We're at 600.80 right now on QQQ. So we're close. That's your over-under. It's been your over-under for as long as I can remember in this market. So you're in short, you're looking for a cover into 600 on Qs. Well, just remember your VWAP's here right now, 600.69. You've just tapped your VWAP on QQQ. 600 is a good cover point, but make sure you're paying yourself into VWAP because they might front run it, which is what you might be seeing here. So we've gone 680s. We haven't completed 660s yet. You can see on the book above me, they're bidding down to 660s. You can see this 115 lot is at 660s. All right, and that's that node down here. This node, they're trying to bid here right now. All right, if they lose that, we come to the bottom side of this range, gap fill. If we lose that, rotation is from grey box to blue box. So it would be a 600 to a 400 rotation there. So there's 200 points there to be had if they let go. If today they say, hey, we're not holding into the weekend. We think that this war is too dangerous right now. We think that Trump might have to put boots on the ground, for example. I think some of the stuff that's gone on in the last 24, 48 hours is nothing short of a disgrace. And I think you'll find that we will be talking about what's happened in the last 2 weeks and beyond in years to come. And there'll be some pretty big investigations. And I reckon there'll be some new legislation drawn out about it when all said and done. We'll see. All right, 705s here, ES, relative weakness. It's got 24-hour VWAP and it's trying to get to 700, 660s, 600s coming on the SPY. There's too many sixes right now, man. Too many sixes. Right, 660's just got tapped. 600's coming up on the QQQs. Sorry, folks. I'm trying. So many sixes. Can we get out of sixes? And then I won't get a tongue twister so much. Right, and if they get under this, then straight back down into previous week value. So many sixes. So 600 tap there on QQQ, and they found a bid instantly on the 600 tap. Sorry, folks. I'm trying. All right, and this is your 600 level, right? 655 basically on NQ right here is your 600 level on QQQ, is your 700 level on ES, is your 670 level or 669 level on spiders. God, so it's 6666666. There's a few 6-7s in there, which I don't get why people do that, but hey, these fucking kids nowadays. Right, we still haven't filled this 100 lot at 660. He's still not been filled. We are building out liquidity here. It's looking more and more like a sell at the moment. Like I said, I've got the long that I really wanted. I'm just going to wait now for this to develop however it wants to develop. I'm happy to look at this market underneath this. I don't want to get caught in a liquidity building phase. I'm happy to look both ways. If we start bidding down here, right, and we see some passive buying absorb the tape, happy to get long here and then look for each of these liquidity levels up here. If we start losing all this, okay, I can either look for the same thing down here, or if we get aggressively selling down here, I'll look for that rotation, which I've also been open to the whole time. So watching this very, very carefully around these levels. That 100 lot just pulled his order, and looks like he's split his order into smaller orders into 50s and 40s now. Because he came off the book, and suddenly there's some split orders down below. So it looks like he wants to feather out rather than put 100 lot in one go. They're trying to squeeze this back up for a retest of 700s at the moment. So ES holding view up. QQQ still, I mean, it held 600, but it's not really attacked it well enough yet. VIX starting to find a bid off those 25. So VIX can afford a squeeze right away up to 27s if it wants, which would be very, very heavy for this market. Come on, Mr. Market, let's do something. Right back to where we took that long from this morning. So do they want to rebid this area or not? We're very, very heavy on this move down, but it looks pretty controlled so far. I'd say there's no panic in this. This is very, very controlled selling so far. We're just in a channel without cleaning anyone out. Right, this is very controlled selling so far, which is not what you want to see for a strong sell, to be honest. You want to see panic enter the tape, which means there's a good chance we come and clean out some liquidity higher. There's a seller up at 700, so I reckon we're going to come up and try and tag that guy at 700, and then we can make a decision up there. Adjust some of these. 12s, does that match up? Yes, okay, nice. We're getting more confluence today between the volume between Ninja and Trading View, which was a little bit off the last couple of days. Right, big seller coming in here again at these lows, 156 lot. He's trying to force the move lower at the moment. Yes, low of day, weak. Yes, weak down here, low of day. ES is into negative squeeze territory now. Negative gamma spiders, and we're QQQ, that same level, right? The same level. All right, so there's the 660s. Sellers coming in down there. They're getting very aggressive. They definitely got a little bit absorbed there. So there's a 300 lot just came in at 660s there, sell side. They're still absorbing down here, but they're still not seeing aggressive bids come in and try and turn the tape. They're trying.
There's still aggressive selling down here. There is some absorption for sure. A seller definitely got caught a little bit down there. We've not moved aggressively away from him yet, but basically 300 lot is 660. And if they can complete the move, they get low of day. If they can't complete the move, I'd say if we start to pop outside of this channel, there's lots of selling taking place down at this shelf, all right? So the big sellers are trying to break away from this to force it down here. If they get caught, this here happens very quick, and if we get over this, we can go all the way back to the highs. All right, watching this now because that seller is caught. So, and the seller at 700 just lifted. So watching for a rebid long here now, if they're really going to do it. It depends if they really want to do it or if they're just going to run some stops. They come short of 700, so still in this range of 87s or 90s to 60s. So no breakout and rebid long. Thought we were going to squeeze 700 and then offer a rebid at 90s, but we didn't. They looked like they were setting up for that very quickly, and quickly that door got shut. So what I'm looking for is a shove to 7s and a pullback to hold 90s. That will make me think, okay, we're done. Otherwise, this is still in a sell. I thought we were about to do it then, but they shut that door very quick. So I would need to see basically this shelf retaken by bulls for me to think about bullish moves. I don't really want to get short down into here. It's too late. The opportunity was probably there. I don't like how they've set this up. So the only short now would be under this for weakness for me. It's the only thing I can play at the moment for the short. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait for a rebid. We might well get it at the moment, the way it's moving. All right, here's the New York Open. 24-hour VWAP is underneath, and we are getting a heavy, heavy move. ES looks like it wants to go for gap fill. It's in negative squeeze territory. We might get snaps here. So maybe we can get the short underneath. We're going to have to wait and see now. Yeah, exactly. SPY, ES, low of day. And QQQ under the 600s, right? We can't rule out the gap fill. We cannot rule out this gap fill. It's very possible they go gap fill today. They're making this hard, though. It's very controlled. Staying in a channel like this is very, very controlled. We can watch these 55s. If they reject this or not, it will be a bit of a tell. This box here, if they reject this or not, will be a bit of a tell. QQQ coming back to test 600. Coming back to test 600 at the moment. Coming back to test this box. If they reject this box, then you'd imagine low of day is coming. That's rejection of the box. We're right at 24-hour VWAP though. Very, very, very controlled here. We know around this 600 we see some nasty moves. Looks like VIX wants 27s to me. It really looks like VIX wants 27s. Here's the tap back into this box. Coming back for the 600 check. Oh, I'm surprised they've been so controlled on the sell. Buyers need to defend this area. This is, I'm watching the H1. I'm like, this is the area that they have to defend. I'm just like trying to zoom out here thinking this is where I would bid if I was a buyer, right? This is where I would bid if I was a buyer, is in here for that move. Here we go. So here's the clean out. Like I said, it's way too clean on the short side. All right, let's see then. This is the move that I just talked about, 700. So if we go 700s and we start holding a bid now between 80s and 60s, I want to get long. Here's the reclaim of 600s into the VWAP as well. So they reclaim 600 QQQ.
They've pushed up to 601s. They need to hold a bid of 600 QQQ. I want to see us visit 700 and then pull back and hold. I don't want to just see this shove be resold into. I can't do anything with that. All right. I need to see something like this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like this. All right. For me to rebid TP1 and then hold for a clean out of all of this. That's what I'd be looking for at the moment. I'm not going to get short now unless we come under here. It's too risky. I'll consider one here. If we come up here and fail, then we're just going to go in a range rotation day. I'd consider a short. But at the moment, I'm looking for longs. Just because I'm trying to focus on that H1, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to get short into this area. This is value area low on the current week as well. We just tapped at this blue line down here. Value area low. I just want to make sure that's right. What's this? 30s? Yeah, right here. This is current developing profile, value area low. I definitely don't want to get short into that. I can get short under it if we let go. I don't want to get short into it. It's too dangerous. That breakup didn't break far enough for me to think about getting long on a pullback, if I'm honest. We didn't break up far enough yet. It can still be sold. Every push into 90s is still being sold. So there's no like push and hold to 700 and pull back and hold. It's an area I'd bid in. It's not a setup I bid on. Is that a good way of putting it? The location's interesting me. The momentum's not interesting me yet. And we've got to get above. Yeah, we've got to definitely hold above 75s. And really, you want a clean break above 90s and like a base. Otherwise, they can keep just dripping this down if that's what they want to do. ES into its 24-hour view up here and New York Open. This is key now. If they reject this on ES, then you expect a gap fill. So you can use 700s to 707s. ES becomes key. So still rejecting. ES rejecting 24-hour view up. Just QQQ just hanging around these 600s. Like I said, there's nothing for me to bid on yet. The location's good. The momentum's not good yet. And it very well might be that we come out and do a gap fill all the way down if they can't hold this. It's a very big, sensitive area around here. I need to see strength come into this market for me to bid. Otherwise, no chance, because we're just in a range rotation. Look at this. Just a chop range rotation. It's just that one trade. Oh, sorry, two trades. One big winner, one 10, 15 point loser. 100 plus point winner, one 10, 15 point loser. Now just waiting still. See if it offers something. If we stay inside the orb, no trade day for you. Yeah, I mean, I would understand that. Here we go. So here's the sign of strength. Now, can they get towards 700s and then start basing? Here's the 690s. Still not the 700s. I want to see 700 and then hold over 690s, really. Or hold 690s to 675s. Here's a move to 7s. Come on, you've got to get up and through this to show me you're ready. And ES needs to get through the New York Open to show me it's ready. Still not ready, you see. Still doing this dance. I would say sellers are caught under 670 right now. There's no doubt about that sellers are caught under there. I just need to see a sign of strength, though. And I'm not seeing it yet. All right, so if we look at the profile, under 670, we are sell-side heavy, but I'm not seeing strength to hold any of this, to say, hey, we're going to hold above this. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing every pop fail. Right, this is all sell-side, but we're not seeing a base above this, and that's what would concern me in terms of momentum. If we base above it, whole different ball game. And we've had controlled selling. So squeeze up, controlled back down. All right. If we go sideways long enough, they build out liquidity. And then the break, either side becomes available because we've built out liquidity. This is very controlled. I would normally expect that to be repaired. But again, we're on a Friday. Do they really want to hold into the weekend? I don't know. Depends what his cronies have been told. Would I long at 700? If we break and hold above it, you could consider it. All right. If we break and hold above it, what I'm looking for at the moment, all right, is one of these: a sign of strength, a pullback, where we hold this level and then this. All right. Otherwise, they could very easily pop and sell right back down under this. This could be used to use this liquidity back down. So I want to see a sign of strength here and how we operate. I'm not going to be early to this trade because it might not work out. It might be that they want gap fill down here. And ES is still rejecting 24-hour VWAP. MAG is still a mess here. So Tesla now only 0.15% up. That's starting to sell. Nvidia is still coming back in. That's only 0.5% up now. Microsoft, 0.25% down. Meta, 1.88% down. Google, 1% up. Amazon, 0.25% up. Apple, 0.25% down. Not in. We're not in flow with all the MAG here. We're a bit of a mess here. Indecision, yeah, indecision. Well, again, what's been the big level for the last 6 weeks? 600, right? 600 QQQ. What's been the big level for NQ the last 6 weeks? 700, right? 700, the big level. So we expect a battle around here. If we just zoom out, it's so important you zoom out. If we zoom out on the H1, right? How many times have we battled this rotation here? Look at this. How important is this level? I would say it's very, 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 very important. All right. Under this, if they truly want to get under this and follow through, they can. If they want to rebid and hold, if this is a look below and fail, if this is a look below and fail, if these are look belows and fail, we go right back in to neutral territory. All right, we go back into the chart. Here it comes. Oh my God, Alex has got caught teaching when the trade's coming. Oh my God, no. You fuck, man. All right, let's see. Don't teach Alex trade. All right, there's a 700 check. Let's see now if they're willing to hold. They have to hold 90s to 60s now, really. I don't like that. That is a poor push up that got sold straight back into. It's not a good sign for bulls. It's a terrible sign for bulls, if anything. Terrible, terrible sign for bulls. Big seller came back in on the backside of that 90s. So we'll watch 90s here. There's definitely a battle here. You can see 90s to 60s is a definite battle here now. Move this up. 90s, basically here. I don't know why that looks so different on here. To 60s. Yeah, that's your battleground. This grey box is your battleground. So they're trying to bid 70s, 65, 60s here for a reclaim of 90s and 700s. Oh, it's perking my interest. It's very hard to time this, how they've set it up. ES still can't get through New York Open, so still got weakness there on ES. And we still can't print over 601s on QQQ. So 600 is holding now. They need to reclaim 601s for a move to 604s on QQQ. At the moment, they are struggling to do that. Here's the 90s check again. This is messy, man. Very messy. It's a hands-off moment for me. No, ES is not through the New York Open. It's not barely pushing through. It hasn't pushed through. It's unable to push through that New York Open currently. So 90s to 60s, still in rotation, 90s to 60s, 30-point grey box. That's your rotation at the moment. Down to 60s, they rebid 60s, now at 80s, now they're going to try and tap 90s, and they go 700s. Is this the move? I'm wondering, is this the start of it? We just absorbed down there on that last pull. Nope, failed out in the 90s again. Man, what a chop fest. It's tempting, but it's not setting up. There's no setup here. They're trying to curl and go. It's tempting to get a feeler on, but I don't know. Here's the 700s. Oh, man. All right, ES through or tapping New York Open, still not through it. Now through it, but not got a close yet. How long have we got into a 5-minute close? We're at a 5-minute close, so this is new 5-minute bar. All right, watching this now to see if they squeeze. If they reclaim 700s, we're going to go 740s, I think. 700s check. If we dip back in now, I'm long. If we break, I'll also get long, but I'd rather have a dip back in, hold 90s or 85s now. Still sellers trying to absorb these sevens. All right, long. I have to get long because there's a squeeze. Long at sevens, and we'll see if we can get 40s here. 40s and then 60s. Nice. Man, they fucked around there long enough. Eventually doing it. Like we said, this is very controlled. Ideally, we get up to 40s here. Nice, good squeeze. Here comes 30s or 20s. Can we get 40s? Can we get 40s? Can we get 40s and then 50s and then high day? Like I said, controlled selling. We're into an area where I would consider bidding off. We just had to be very patient for this. I would have loved to have been able to take this pullback here, but couldn't. Didn't like what I saw, so had to take the 700 break for the squeeze. So any rebid now needs to hold 90s again, like I said. Do not want it to fail here. Yeah, it did happen quick. Like, this is what happens when they get caught in one side. And this is just the mark. And remember, it's the gamma market right now. Look at that. And also, 600's held through 601s, break, right? And they want to go all the way up to 604s if they've got power on QQQ. ES from 24-hour VWAP up to New York VWAP, right? If we get over this bid now at 15s, we go positive on ES, positive gamma, and they can try and force a squeeze. But I mean, if you want to take some profit into this congestion zone, I don't blame you at all, because we can go into a range rotation market. I'm trying to get up to the top side of this range right now, right? So I'm trying to use trap sellers down here to get into here, and then if they show me strength here, we're going to try and take out each of these sellers up here. Right, this was the plan before, is no different. Right, this was the H1 level that I felt like we could bid off. 700 was the key level. We've talked about that plenty of times. All right, and it just depends if they can do that. Look at the gamma. They didn't let it go negative. They dripped under, reclaimed. They want to bid sort of 90s now to force this squeeze. If you don't want to risk down into here, that I would totally understand. Right, we're failing to come into the very top side of it, but I would like to see this just hold bids versus 90s now. I certainly wouldn't be interested under 90s, or let's be accurate, under 88s. No. Why? I'm not answering chat. Where I put my stop loss is up to me. Where you put yours is up to you. I've just told you I don't want it under 90s. So where do you think my stop would be? Come on, man. All right, back into 90s. And if it can't hold here, I'm out, because it means it rotates to 60s. And that would be a pop to clean out. It doesn't really clean out much liquidity, but we're back into this level. So I'm out of this, and I'll watch if they hold 70s for a redip. And if they lose 70s, we're going to go further down. And you guys who literally want to follow everything I do instead of learning, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Like, what if I've decided today I'm going to use small size and use a 100-point stop loss? And what if you're using bigger size? And I say, okay, my stop's down at 500 today. How does that help you? Come on. All right, I want a reclaim of 90s, and I might consider getting back in. At the moment, it doesn't look very good. They're selling every little pop-up at the moment, and we're back into the congestion zone. Okay, flushing back down. Look at these sellers. Wow, that's a big lot there. Flying in. So they're trying to get back all the way down to the lows now. They're trying to get. That's very aggressive on the Qs to come and redip underneath all of that. So no strength from buyers. They had the chance to hold that. They failed. Here's the gamma level, and if they lose this, they can come right down into here. That's a squeeze out that just got absolutely smacked back down so far. Back to value area low, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a new low of day at this point. This is so aggressive on the tape. If you look above me, this is very, very, very aggressive. So any pop up now, they would just want to sell 70s and absolutely hammer this back down to low of day. So 70s to 90s, they should resell. I'm not going to take it, but they've done so much work here. They should resell 70s and 90s. They shouldn't let this reclaim all of that. Guess what? QQQ 600. Oh, head on brick wall. Head on brick wall. Day 6. Head on brick wall. Head on brick wall. Value area high, value area low. Yeah, that's why I was looking for 40s, right? We didn't quite get there, right? So I was looking for 40s, value area high, straight back to value area low. Range rotation day. If they're going to get continuation, though, they need to sell 70s to 90s, and they need to just come and wreck it down to the low 600. So if you want to play the short, you can. I wouldn't be long now. I'd be looking for the short at 60s to 90s for a continuation lower. I wouldn't be looking long now, just based on that last move. You can't be long until they reclaim 90s and 700s. And this looks more and more gross by the minute. More and more gross by the minute. Here's the lift back up towards 70s. Now, they should defend this. Sellers just got stuck there again at 40s. They should defend 70s to 90s here, these sellers, because they've done a lot of hard work there. And if they don't defend this, although I don't know what to say. Are we just going to go into a 100-point range today? Here's 70s, here's 90s. And if they don't defend this, we go right the way back to 740s, I guess, which is kind of incredible. Can we do something market where we don't stay in a tiny little range? So 90s defended, back to point of control 70s. Sellers need to come in here and aggressively flush this now. They've done a lot of hard work there. A lot of hard work. They will want to see new low of day. If they can't see new low day, they will get stuck again. But they should now defend this grey box, right? If sellers should, based on what they allow to happen here, defend this and come for this now. That's what they should do. But this level here is the 600 QQQ. This is your gamma level. We know what they do around here. They just cannot seem to get any follow through around here for 6 weeks. They just get stuck. You think ES is moving better? I mean, ES is SPY's rejecting 670s, but it's really not moving that much better. It's at the same kind of level. It's the 700. It's at the same level, mate. It's the same level for ES for weeks. It's the same level for Qs for weeks. I'm happy to play either way if we can just move away. What I'm not happy to do is play in this 90 to 60 range. Look at that. Straight back down, straight back into the range. Sellers should attack this lower, and they are doing a miserable job at the moment. And we're now, I'll tell you what, why is this looking worse and worse? Well, there's cash VWAP, there's 24-hour VWAP, there's node, there's gamma, there's flow zones, there's higher time frame algo, there's lower time frame algo, there's value. This is looking worse and worse for the day if we stay here. I'm definitely not having nibbles here. We had one. We had a 700 break. All right, and we didn't quite make it. So I took a little piece off there. Basically had a neutral trade because I give it 10 points room. So I took 10 points out upside, took 10 points off downside. So another break even. Sellers should really complete this move lower. Based on what I've seen, they should. They're not doing a very good job, but they should try and complete the rotation lower right now. If I was going to be anything, I'd be short 70s and 90s now, looking for low of day. That's what I would be. But they're not doing a good job. Crude moving up, well, it should give Confluence for the move lower, shouldn't it, really? Here you go. They should break down here. They should come and visit 620s and then 590s, and then 560. So if any of you took the 90 to 70 short, you might get a 100-point move. I might try and join this now. I'm seeing strength from sellers. So if we stay heavy, I'm going to try and join this for the sell. Clean up all this liquidity lower. They're going to come and test these 620s, which they just pretty much did. And then 600s. And then if they lose 600s, it's a big sell. If we lose 600, there is a big sell down to 570s, 560s. And if we lose that, we can come right back down here, folks. So I'm still open to that move. Now we're moving away from this. I'm more open to it. I'd be low here for any of you that did take that move. 90s, 70s, and 90s. I'm not in anything yet, but I would like to sell this at this point that I'm seeing strength. But I don't want to sell low of day. So we need to break below IB and stay heavy, or pop back up and stay heavy versus 50s and 60s now. What was this guy here? What was his level? 40s. What about this guy here? 56s, yeah. 40s to 60s. Any pop-up which they sell, I want to get into. I think we're going to flush hard here. I think this is game over. They've just caught so much liquidity. I don't really want to chase into 6s, but it might not give me a choice here. So I'd say any defend by sellers into sort of 40s to 50s should be sold now. Like before, they should have sold 90s to 70s. They've wiggled around a bit, but they eventually did it. They should now defend 37 to 57, and they should look for follow through downside. And I'm going to put a piece on for this downside move. And a break of 600, I'm going to look for 590s, 550. Here we go. I'm in this, and I'll see if we can get too much more. Come on, baby. Just trying to play the momentum lower at this point. So we did talk about this. This took too long. I'm surprised they let it come to the top side. I would have preferred them to defend that. All right, but now we come down into previous week, previous day. Right, and you'd want to see them defend this for this rotation down here now. You do not want to see this soak back up and reclaim this. This must be defended now by sellers. I'd say 40s becomes key. You want them to sell 40s really. Yeah, I've got a piece on, and if we small piece, and if we sell 40s, we sell anywhere from 40s to 50s, our add. If we start reclaiming that grey box above me, I will not add back on. I'll just cut it. Playing with house money here, though. And I'll also add if we build out more liquidity to break lower. And I feel like it's good. It's currently sellers are trapped down at 600, but if we can get under that and sell aggressively, I'm interested again. So here's previous week value area low. Previous day value area low is 90s. Previous day close is 60s. I'm trying to get down to 60s, and under that, I think we've got a chance to move down to low 500s and then really puke. And remember, Globex is down at 400 still. So there's a chance now to break lower. If they're not going to go into a range day, we've got a chance to break lower. Here we go. Need 600s to start letting go here. Haven't got enough size on yet. Getting aggressive at these lows. Nice. I'm not going to be able to get size on by the looks of it. It's going to be small size only. I think we want gap fill on the indexes right now. And I think VIX wants 27s. So a lot of faffing up here. So we played over that. We came under it. We tried to play under it. All right, so that clear out. Should have come and clean out. What is that? Should have come and clean out further up. All right. There's the squeeze. There's the failure. Didn't quite make the rotation to 40s. There's the failure of this grey box. I'm short down here now, unfortunately. Didn't get the entry up there because didn't like what I saw. Here comes the gap fill. So we're almost there into the yellow box. So previous day value area low is here. I'm trying to get down into here, here, and if we get lucky, here and here. And I would like to add on if we can stay heavy because I do not have enough size. I'm late to the party, unfortunately, because I didn't like what I saw in there. We talked about it, but I didn't like what I saw. So I would watch now 625s. There's a little shelf at 625. So any pop up there, I will watch. Otherwise, we're just going to drift lower. If you're trading ES, you want to watch it into sort of 78s, 72s, and 56s. Okay. If you're trading spiders, you're watching it into, I hate to say it, 666, 665. If you're trading QQQ, you're looking for 597s. Right. We are currently looking for 560s, 520s, and then 400s, 450s, 400s. Almost there for gap fill, folks. We're very, very close to TP1, the yellow line. Unfortunately, we had to be late here, but still not bad. If we get down here, it's still 100 points, right? If we can get previous day low. Lots of sellers coming in at these lows. Be very, very careful. If we don't break lower now, I will take this off. We need to break lower. Nice. Really good. Okay, TP1 here. I'm trying to hold for previous day low. We're getting very aggressive, which is perfect. So just trying to play the momentum. I won't want to see this come back above 70s, all right? Because we've had a 200 lot seller come in at 570s here. So I don't want to see us squeeze it back above 70s now. He got very aggressive near the low at 570. So we have to stay heavy versus 570 or I'm going to take it off and I can always add back in. But I do not want to see us squeeze over 570 now. I want to use him as leverage to move lower. They might well lift it 30 points higher to 600 based on what I've seen on the tape. I will not sit through that. Another big seller coming in here now at 54s. So here's the check towards 70s. 70s has to stay heavy. We have to break 55s. If we break 70s, I'm out. All right. And I'll just let this drift higher and then I can re-add back in. We've now closed the gap on all the indexes. All right. ES has closed the gap. I tell you what, the ETFs haven't quite closed. We might get a new low here, which would be ideal. As long as we're protecting 70s, I'm staying in this. Nice. Let's see if we can get previous day low. So stops basically move to 70s. I'll give it a wiggle. I'll give it 75s on my stop, and then I'll cut. So 75s is my stop. We do have an imbalance at 75s. Out of this now. We'll see if we drift up to 600. I can always re-attack at 690, 600 if I want. Remember, gap fill got complete there. There's the lift towards 600. And I can always re-attack this. I wanted to make sure I locked in just in case they do a mega squeeze. We now, remember what we talked about at the beginning of the day, we now have the ability to use this now. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for. Any reclaim of this, I'm not interested. We have to stay heavy here for this move lower. All right, any reclaim of this, then I think we revisit that and that'll be an inside choppy shit day. So if we're going to have continuation, it needs to be this move here. All right, so we're now squeezing over the 70s. Those sellers at low of day currently stuck. We probably come and test 590, 600. And I'll see if there's an opportunity to get short again. Some of you might be happy to hold this, which is fine. I'm just, because my entry was later, I had to be a bit more careful. But we got another what? What did we get out of that? 22s down to 50s. Not bad. 70 points. Entry was a bit late, unfortunately. We can only play the momentum in front of me. I have to see a tape that I like to join. Certain amount of discretion in that. Previous day low still available here for any of you who are still short. Oh. Trading with you. I've just passed 5 Lucid, 5 Apex with trades this morning. Great calls and explanation. Looking forward to getting payouts next week. Nice work, man. Yeah, nice work, everyone who got W's in chat. There's still a chance. Look, there's still a chance we can move lower. I am like the things that have caught me by surprise today. I'm somewhat surprised we couldn't visit 40s. All right, I was looking 700 should have visited 14. Like I said, if you remember up there, I said if we get 40s, there's a chance of a short back down. We didn't quite make it. This wiggle here took too long, and they let it drift a little too high for my liking. So I had to see a sign of strength. There's a sign of strength to join on the next pullback for the break.
This is good now. This is a good rejection of 590, 600. Well, I think we've got a good chance of breaking lower now. So I'm still not in this, but again, got caught teaching when I should have been attacking that short. Let's see. They're pulling orders underneath. 550's disappeared now. Fuck. I missed that trade entry there. Maybe some of you got that. Hopefully some of you did get that. I just missed a clean entry there up and towards 600. We got to 97s. Oh, I missed that. And they want 500s here on the book. Oh, I'm disappointed in myself for missing that. Disappointed myself. Caught teaching again. That's maybe the third or fourth time today I got caught teaching. Right, you need this to stay heavy under 70s and then under 55s, right? It's got to get heavy under 70s and under 55s, and then you break lower. There's a 400 lot seller up at 600. No, I'm very upset with myself now. I've got to be very careful. That's upset me. I've got caught teaching in the move that I wanted. We just talked about that move up to reject. I've missed optimal entry there. Silly Alex. Silly boy, Alex. Here you go. They're checking PDC here. If you start rejecting 70s and flush under 50s, we break hard. Here we come. I'm going to have to join late again, which I really don't want to do down here. It's very dangerous because I've missed optimal entry. Fuck me, Alex. Sorry for my language, folks. This is me getting upset with myself. Not with you. Hopefully you all got it. Right, that was exactly what we talked about. That pop up to fail. This is your next target down here. All right, you want to see a break and stay heavy under 55s. You've got to stay heavy under 55s, definitely under 70s. You do not want to reclaim of 70s. If you stay heavy under 55s and 70s, there's a chance to move to 515s, which is previous day low. There is a chance to move down to this gamma level, which is 450. There's a chance to move down to 400, which is basically Globex. All right. Blue box is your main cover point that we had today. If we were going to sell grey box today, if you go back to the beginning of the stream, we talked about if we move under grey box and sell grey box, there is this move here available. If we go over grey box and hold grey box, there is this move here available. I didn't think we'd get both. We got both. There's trade one. This is now what we're looking for trade two. If you reclaim this level here, you want to leave this market alone. Hopefully I've helped you guys out. Maybe some of you took this short in here. Maybe some of you took the 70s to 90s short. Where did we go? 70s, was it 60s to 90s? It was a good short. It didn't take out 90s. It was a good short. It just didn't look very good, but it was a good short. Well, congrats all of you who are in this. Congrats all of you that are in this. Yeah, like more selling coming in at the lower day here. Another 190 lot seller here. You should break lower as long as he stays in position. You do not want to get trapped down here. I tell you what, the size the last few days is insane. Does anyone else felt that? Like, look at these big lots down here. I mean, this is no joke. And yesterday was incredible. I posted up on Twitter, like, I haven't seen size like that on the book for a long, long time. Long time. Feels like gov buying. Yeah, I mean, it probably is. Save the market buying. But I tell you, I'm not getting into politics, but the longer they're in this excursion, it's a war, the more mistakes they make, the more innocent lives they take, the more you get a bit of a grinding between internally in the US. The higher the oil goes, the longer Iranians can stay in this and be like, fuck you, we're not changing the regime and we're going to have $200 a barrel. The longer they're in it, the more chance that becomes possible. The more chance it affects the American consumer, the more chance we price that into the market, right? Doesn't matter who you vote for. That's just how we deliberate risk. Yeah, exactly. Desperate to keep the market afloat, midterm year. It's not going to look good, is it? Right? If the oil prices jack up and it's not temporary, it's not going to look good. Right? I'm quite selfishly, I want this market to puke out. All right? I want to be a net long in my swing accounts at much lower prices. So I'm okay with this happening. I'm not okay with war. I cannot stand war. There's innocent lives dying, but I'm okay with a market pulling back deep. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so they're breaking lower underneath all those sellers we just talked about. You're looking for that green line on your screen, and then you're looking for the blue box. All right, I'm not in it. I can't chase it. I've missed my entry. I got caught talking to you lot, but hopefully you lot got it. And we're looking for that break lower now. All right, previous day low is what they're looking for. All right, SPY now just filled the gap, just tapped its gap fill, 666. QQQ's well under it. You're almost there. All right, there's your next TP. Don't be a dick for a tick. And now you can hold on, folks, for the top of this blue box. So I'd say your covers now, your next covers, you should have TP'd out some here. You're looking for 477, 450. You might overshoot it to 432. And down here, all right, 400s. Really good. Again, if you're confused why we're in these shorts now, why we were long earlier and now we're in the shorts, go back to the very beginning of the day, 9:15 to 9:30 New York time. I talk about these setups. Here we go. Oh, God. This is so painful, guys. For me personally, it's a 100-point miss now out of teaching. Here you go. So watching top of blue box now, and then 50s, and then 400s. And I tell you what, we break 400s, we're going 24,000. I'm not chasing. No, there's no way I'm chasing, man. Like I told you, there's no way I'm chasing. Like, I thought about it, and I'm like, you can't, Alex. You just can't. You can't break your rules. You got caught teaching. What are you going to do? It's on you. But I'm very happy for all of you. Very, very happy. Very happy for all of you. So here's the whole number 500. You might get a wiggle here. And you would now want 45s to stay heavy. Maybe it lifts to 70s if on a lift, but you want 45s to stay heavy. Thanks for the advice and the good vibes, other than you not getting it because you're teaching us. It's all right, Blake. Thank you, mate. Oh, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. I can't let it go. This is the worst. This is the worst feeling ever. I don't know if any of you have this. Like, it hurts more for me to see the trade and miss it teaching than anything else, which is really, it's selfish, isn't it, really? But it definitely hurts. Like, I get my hands go all clenched. I get annoyed. I'm angry with myself because it did everything I wanted to see. There we go. It's all right. Though I think the cyber threat will have material effects. Potentially, I read about that yesterday. I think there's a lot of stuff going on we don't know about. I think there'll be a lot of false flags used as well. I don't want to say stuff publicly, because I think people will get upset. But I think all I'm going to say is politics is a very dirty game, and human lives are used as collateral. Both sides. And that's all I'm going to say. I'll just leave it there. We're all on this planet together. Why we haven't learned any lessons in our history as mankind is beyond me. Chase because of the excitement, not a good move, but got 2R. Well, the thing is, when you chase when momentum's heavy, it's more likely to pay you. At least you're chasing the right way. All right, so I would say low of day. All right, I'll tell you right now. At 990, you had 100 lot come in. Buyers came in on the tape between 512 and 500. All right, so sellers won't really want it above that, because if we start holding 500s, there's a squeeze back up to 44s. We have sellers at low of day. All right, I'm going to show you this on the tape. All right. Look at all this strong selling. There was the break from 45s. Sellers have come in at low of day, down here at 90s. We have buyers. You can see it here, the blue. Buyers have tried to step in between 500 and sort of 510. All right. If we start getting above that, we have some imbalances, but we're very, very thin in this drop, and we might come straight up to 45. So sellers won't really want it printing above these 510s. They want to stay heavy and break this. There you go. Just like that, and keep continuing low of day. You're definitely seeing some absorption take place under 500s right now. Selling is heavy. It's very, very heavy at 90s, and we're not moving under it. So, all I'd say is you should have paid yourself. Make sure you're paying yourself. I'm not saying this can't break lower, but we're deep in discount now. Thanks, Chris.
Alex, nice call outs. Shitty that you missed it because you're teaching us. Another opportunity coming. Thanks for your teachings. They help you onwards. Hey, thank you, both of you. Chris and Jans. I hope I said that right. Jans. 510 still rejecting. You just heard the squeaky door. I'm just going to say goodbye to my wife. Hang on a second. All right. We'll do something together. All right. Love you. All right. 490s. Heavy, heavy, heavy under 490s now. That's big selling. Look at the tape. Woo! This is heavy selling down here, man. They are very aggressive right now. You are top of the blue box. All right, this is what we talked about, paying yourselves into top of the blue box. Then you're looking for 450s. Then you're looking for 400s. How do you get IB in the charts? I use my own indicator, but I'm sure there's indicators for free. It comes with my Flowzone Pro, right? And we can think about the IB expansion. You're beyond the 161. So if we do a measured move now, we should hit 415. So I'd be looking for 400s at this point. You should have paid yourself a good chunk. All right. You were either, your opportunities for short were the 60 to 90. You could have got short here. You could have joined me short here where I had to get short for the break. Or you could have got short here for the pop-up and defend of 600. All of these are valid shorts. That short, that short, that short. All great shorts. You're now just holding on to see how low you can go. You do not get short in here. You do not do that. All right? If you missed it, like me, you missed it. It is what it is. VIX on the way to 27. It's through 27, man. It's 27.10. Yeah, this is what we talked about. So if VIX starts basing up here now, so if it does a rotation from 27.30 to 26.80 and it holds, it's then going to look for 28s. A break of 28s is looking to squeeze out through prior high 28.50 and go for 30s. All right, that'll be very, very heavy. Remember, we've been in a big sell here. All right, we were long this morning. The tape shifted. We looked for shorts. Right, once the tape shifted, we looked for shorts. And I'm in nothing now. I'm certainly not going to get long against this. I'm going to have to see, hopefully we do some giant squeeze back that I can short into. Otherwise, there's no way I'm long in this. I'm not a psychopath. I can feel when the tape's heavy. The tape's very heavy. All of the mags gone red other than Google. All right, so we went risk off into the weekend. Surprise, surprise. Do you need all these indicators to be profitable? No, you don't need any indicators to be profitable. This is just my system. All right, people can attack me on my system, but I mean, if I just paid attention to my system, there was the buy. We actually took that buy this morning. There was a sell. Told me to stay in a sell. Should have just stayed sell side. Should have ignored everything else. There's my system. There's the view ups. There's momentum. There's the initial balance. There's the opening range. Once we broke IB in opening range, sell continuation down to blue box. Right? You don't need any of these. You might trade naked. I could probably just trade off order flow, to be honest. But I am a visual learner. All right. So the reason I built this system, sometimes I fight it, and it's stupid to think I'm more intelligent than my system, which I built. But if I see red, all right, if I'm seeing red printing candles, if I'm seeing red momentum, I shouldn't really be looking for buys unless I'm adamant on a little reversal and I'm trying to get an early print. An early print would be like here, and then you'd have like flow zones curl underneath, and then they'd support the reprint higher, for example. But I try not to fight my system. If I fight my system, I normally lose. Right, very, very close to this gamma level, aren't you? 450. So you can see top of the blue box, gamma level here. You should have paid yourself a chunk, and then if you get lucky, you get 400s now. If you explain your system in 10 seconds, I'm lost. You mean, can I explain it in 10 seconds? The system on the screen, do you mean? The clouds that you're looking at are lower time frame momentum. The clouds up here are medium time frame momentum. This is telling you momentum of multiple time frames. Lower time frame, higher time frame. Green line is previous day low. Yellow line is cash gap close. All right, so all horizontal lines are key levels. All clouds are basically momentum. That's really all it is. And then I use the tape to decipher everything else. Is there a scenario in which it will squeeze up? Yeah, definitely. But right now, I don't think there's enough selling at these lows where we're at the moment. The big selling came in at 540s to 570s. We haven't seen the same kind of selling since. We've got 100 lot at 490s, but we're under that. So, you know, unless we break above and hold a base above 500, 510s, then there's a squeeze to 540s, but it's 30 points, man. It's not a lot, and they might well sell 540s to 570s. We're in a big downside pressure day. I'm not going to be looking for longs. Not anymore. I look for trades to max pain. I think that's probably right, Cameron. Yeah. I look for people who are trapped, and I look to use their pain. All right. It's why today we had to shift on the tape. When we said that the importance of the 700s, like, I will remain saying this thing. This has been your key level for 6 weeks' time. All right. And today we popped up, previous week point of control. We failed. We did a dance here. Now we're back down to this blue box. If we lose this blue box, we're coming right back down to here. All right. And this is our higher time frame node. I might have to put it back on. But if we think about where that is on a daily, right? What did we do today? If we reject, I don't know why this is blue. If we reject this, we asked ourselves right at the beginning of the day, the first thing we said, are we going to reject the range? Here's the range. Here's your range. We're rejecting the range. We talked about this today. It's the first time we've seen rejection of range. Continuation lower at this point. We can move this. All right, so they're looking to attack all the way down here. If we zoom out, right, if we lose this bid, we're going to come back down to this node, aren't we? 24,000. Right, where we caught the bid on Sunday. If we lose 24,000, we're going to start looking for a bear market. You're going to be like, fuck you, we're not. We are. All right, if we lose 24,000 and stay heavy, we're looking for 22,500. Again, it measures out pretty well. All right, 50% kind of retracement. If we're going to do 38%, we're going to hold the top of the range. But if we lose 24s, we start getting very bearish. We can do a dance at 24s. We can go over under at 24s, but we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We just have to see. Two and a half thousand watching, basically. Yeah, 750 likes. Come on, guys. We've given some bangers out. I try and teach you as I go, even when it hurts myself. Right, watch the 500s, 510s. If they lift 510s, they're going to try and get to 545s, 570s, and then maybe they will offer me a reshort up there, or maybe they're just going to reclaim everything and squeeze back over. But I tell you what, the big selling came in at 540s to 570s. So I will watch to see how we act when we get up there. So an imbalance here at 20s. We want to see it go to 40s and 70s, and then I'll watch to see how we act 40s to 70s. Want to see how we act here. Do we resell this for a retest of this low? And then if we do get short there, I'll be covering some into 500s this time because we've now built out this base. And if we break below, right, we can maybe get this today. All right, and if we hold this, then they can re-squeeze up to this. They can. I mean, that's a very steep, aggressive move down. We haven't even made the 40s yet. Wait to see if we reprice into 40s to 70s, and if buyers come up there and get trapped. All right, and then I'll think about short. Sort of like one of those clouds, but it's just rolling fibs. Whoever just asked that, my cloud are based on rolling fibs. Can we lift to 40s to 70s and then see if it offers me something? Can I do something with it? If we start reclaiming 40s, 70s, and 90s, we go big old squeeze. So QQQ into PDL, PDC. We're not quite there yet. Well, we're through PDL on NQ. I'm watching to see lift up here, and then we see here comes the move to 40s. All right, so 40s, 70s will perk my interest. If we trap buyers up here, I'll look for a reshort back down towards 500s. If we just squeeze through all of this, there's nothing I can do because they're not offering really above this until 600. So I'm watching to see if we set up a short up here for a retest of 510s to 500s. And if we break below that, great. If we just start squeezing through 40s and 70s, there's nothing I can do with it. Lulea, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Here comes the test towards the 40s and 70s. And we'll see if these sellers resell, right? So what I'm asking is, do these guys resell it or do they get squeezed out? So do these guys resell it? I'm going to look for a short up here if they do. That's a pretty straightforward answer there, isn't it? Yes, we are reselling it, mate. I actually want this higher first. There's an imbalance now into 10s, which buyers can step in and hold for a second leg. So buyers can do a second leg up and then sell it. So I'm just got to watch carefully here. '40s to '70s remains what's perking my interest. Looks like they want to do a re-squeeze 40s to 70s. I tell you what, if they get through 70s, they can go 600 pretty quick. And we will respect this down here now. So we came to high time frame demand, pivoting up. I'm waiting to see if buyers get caught up here now. If they don't, if they break through this 70s, we go test IB. And if we break back through that, we go right back in. Look at that. We did the squeeze from 655. We just missed 50s. So here we go. Here's 50s. Let's see if they go 70s. And if they lift, they go 600s. I'm going to focus on the shorts. I'm not looking for the long. I want to see if buyers get caught. We've seen some absorption up here, but this is starting to get a little bit aggressive. Sellers at those lows might get caught. But this is where we last. This is the last area we aggressively sold. So I'm looking for shorts up here. Starting to see a buyer get caught at 58. So still want to see if we can lift 70. So I'll watch 40s to 70s. If we start coming under 40s, I'll think about the short. Otherwise, I'll watch it to 70s. So here's the move back to 40s. Don't like that there's a passive seller right up at 600 with a 400 lot. Does not make me comfortable. Does not make me comfortable. Watching this wiggle here. Still they're holding. So rebid there at 40, so still no short. They're rebidding 40, so they might go 40s, 70s. And I don't want to get too focused too much in the short where I have to take it, because it might just be that I've missed the move because we've had the low hanging fruit, right? Here's PDC, here's 70s. If they squeeze this, we probably go 600s. Here's the 70s check. This is where the big delta is. Above this, we go 600s, I would say. Again, I'm not going to take the longs. I'm just going to see if we peter out. There's the 40s to 70s rotation in the last 2 minutes. Again, over 70s, we go 590s, 600s. Maybe even 620s is possible, 625s. I'm going to stay focused on the short. Because even if this long, unless we do a fucking re-squeeze straight the way back up, which is possible. But what I would say is they should come and recheck this area here, even if they're then going to re-long it. So I'm looking for that short back down into at least that. And if we fail that, right, if we fail that, we get lower. But I'm looking for anywhere here where they get stuck for this move back here. And if they rebid that, that's fine. I'll be done with it. If they're just going to go straight squeeze, then there's nothing I can do. I won't get the short and I won't get the long either. Being a trader from Asia sucks. I don't think so at today's market. Why are you trading New York? Look at the trades that you had available to you in Asia. You had amazing trades in Asia this week. Don't even bother trading the New York Open. Trade the Asia market at the moment. Okay, 70s to 40s rotation. Sellers are coming back in here, but we still have liquidity up at 600. I'm going to watch. If we start breaking under 40s, I'm interested. If we poke 70 and fail, I'm also interested. Watching both sides of this sort of range, 40 to 70 range. They're still trying to soak these 40s. If we let go of this, it would come straight back down, but we're still soaking it. Like a sponge, they want 600s by the looks of it. Can't get inside a PDC right now. Developing a node here. I'm really interested in taking a short here, but I'm not sure we've peaked out enough quite yet. We're close. They're trying to soak. They're trying to soak. I want to get short. It's just I need to wait for it to break. I want to be sure it's ready. Here we go. What are you going to do here? Are you going to flush it? Do I stick a piece on in this imbalance if you trade through it? You got to let go 40s and then I'm confident. All right, short. Short now, and I won't risk much. I want to see 45 stay heavy. Nice, and I'm looking for it to travel back into the 10s, and I'll cover a piece into 10s in case. Maybe even earlier if they trap, but I think we can get down to 10s at least. And I'm not going to give it room. If we revisit 45s, I'm out. I'm not going to give it any room at all in case they want to do a second leg higher and they trap. So I'll pay myself some no matter what. So I'm short under this shelf here. I'm looking for this revisit in here. I'm looking to try and cover some in here. Not going to let it reclaim this shelf at all. Because if they want to do that, they will. But I'm looking to get down into here. And then I'm holding a runner, right? I'm covering into these pockets and I'm holding a runner in case it does that. I don't know if it's going to do that. But I'm going to hold a runner in case. What I'm not going to let it do is reclaim this shelf. Buyers are trying to soak here at 30s. I want this to move into 10 so I can get something off. Here we go. Come on. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take something off into 20s, which I didn't really want to do. It's not quite where I wanted to go. I wanted to at least get to 10s here. Poking into my entry. About to cut this. There is an imbalance here, so I'm trying to give it a little bit of room into 45s. Will not hold above 55, so I'll tell you that much. Maybe even tighter, but I'm not going to hold above 55s. I want to see downside follow through to 10s. Come on, market. Give me 10s. They are soaking here at 30s. Don't feel comfortable now. Don't like what I just saw. Really don't like what I just saw there in that last move to 25s and 30s. So if this candle doesn't close heavy, I am out of this. I'm not going to let it come above 45s now. I'll move my stop tighter. Paid myself a little bit on that last one because I didn't like what I saw, but I want to see a break into 10s now. If they keep absorbing 30s and 25s on this candle, I will get out because they keep soaking down here. Come on, give me 10s. Get out my way, you guys soaking this at 25s and 30s. Fuck off. Give me my TP. Give it to me. Get out my way, Mr. 30s. Go away. I only want 20 more points. You're being stubborn. You're in my way, mate. Come on, get out my way. You become a seller now. Thank you. Go away, mate. Give me 10s. Here we come. Thank goodness for that. I thought he was going to knock me out there. He was soaking for so long. Right, looking for 10s or 15s, somewhere around that in the teens, and then 500s. And then if we let go of that, I will look for a new low of day on the runner. Here we come. Beautiful. All right, I'm filling a little piece there because we've got an imbalance right here from 12s down to 05s. and we'll see if we can move lower now. So I've paid myself no matter what. Stops in the money. If we're going to go low day, if this is a continuation, then we're good, right? If that was just a retest, a PDC, like we said, of 50s to 70s, or was it 40s, 50s, 40s, 50s? I can't remember. 40s, 70s. They got stuck there. It's where the sellers sold this morning. And we're seeing now, we're paying ourselves into this grey box no matter what, and then we hold a runner, right? Because we don't know what happens. They might want to rebid this, but that's why we pay ourselves. So the high probability move was a fail from here to here. We don't know now if they do this or this. It's why we paid ourselves. At least I got something else today because I was getting frustrated. I missed that gorgeous move. Right, and you don't want to see it reclaim. Where did they just come back in? 45s. No reclaim of 45s here. Can I explain what I mean by a rebid? Yeah. So buyers, passive buyers were like bidding. The seller was filling that buyer, and then he was coming back on the tape and rebidding that same area. So think about, I'm about to be knocked out on the runner here. Any pushing to 45s, I'm out. I know there's an imbalance above, but I'm not going to give it room to rip me. Good rejection there. 45s is my level. Anything over 45s, I'm out. I mean, you might want to risk 55s. I'm not going to risk it. We got to stay heavy versus 45s here. At least we got our TP though. We got TP1. If they get through 45, 55s, they can go, well, I don't know actually. It's just a shell 45, 55. They can technically go 600 on a second leg if we think about a measured move now. Yeah, they can go 600 if they want. We stay heavy at 45s, we're good. All right, this guy here, this has to stay heavy, basically. This, can I draw it? You gonna let me draw it? This here needs to stay heavy. This guy, that needs to stay heavy for this move, right? Otherwise, you're gonna get a second leg measured move into here. This is why we cover some into this. We respect these levels. Really good. Come on now. Come on now. Behave now. Let's get through this imbalance and let's go lows. I'm still short. Like I said, my stop is at 45s. I've paid myself into the teens, right? So 15s to 10s. Like I said, there's an imbalance 12 to 04s. I've paid myself into there, all right? And I will stop out if we come through 45s. All right, so I'm still in until we get through 45s. I'm looking for lower prices. But it might well want to print up if it holds this pivot we keep coming into. But at the moment, we look good. Right, so here's the first time we've gone into this balance, or second technically, where we covered first. All right, and remember this grey box here, I don't know, maybe this needs to be a bit brighter on your screen, I'm not sure. This is where we covered into, right, because we've got a shelf here. So buyers will want to protect this. If these buyers become sellers, right, if the buyers in here, right, who bid in here, come on, TradingView, the buyers who bid in here become sellers, we will complete this move down into this, which is why we paid ourselves into it in case, and we can hold a runner. And we didn't take out 45, so we're still short. Oh, fuck off with your moaning. I tell you exactly what I'm getting in. I don't show my trades because A, you shouldn't be copying everything I do, and B, because I can't teach on NinjaTrader because I can't draw and move it around, and I don't have the gamma and everything else. What else do you want? Like I say, go to the toilet by yourself. I'm not going to hold your dick. For goodness sake. I even had, if that's you who emailed me yesterday asking to buy my course and then said, do I need to pay for Discord? I'm a professional trader. And then emailed me 2 hours later saying, can I give you call outs? You're not a pro trader, are you? Just stop with the nonsense, please. Please, guys. You act like I don't tell you what I'm looking for. It's so frustrating. All right, we're looking for 505s to stay heavy now and a break under 76s, and then we should get a new low of day. Here's the 76s, and we want this to stay heavy versus 505. So I am not going to risk above 505s now on this runner, and I would like to see a break of low of day and get us down to 500s. Really good. Come on, let's fill all these guys. There's lots of bids down here, down to 500s, down to 400s. I think we can fill some of these, but I definitely don't want to see it back over 505 now. I want the grey box to stay heavy now. Right, if we're going to get continuation, we want this and this, ideally. Right, we're looking for this move here. Really good. Can we get a new low of day here and then run out all these bulls? We want low of day here. They are aggressively selling these lows. So, I mean, if you want to take more money off into low of day, you can do that, of course. I think we've got a chance for a new low, though. So some absorption coming on under 75 right now. 75 to 505 is the level. Looking for a clean break under, fill all these bids down to 400s and below would be fantastic for the runner. You're too late. If you just joined and you're looking for a trade now, you're too late, I'm afraid. You're too late. You'll get yourself caught if you try and trade this now. You've missed the opportunity. Really want to fill this liquidity below. I'm trying to give it a little bit of room, but I need to see this sell soon for me to be comfortable. Thinking in my head, do I want to give 30 points back in the rip up to 505s? Not really, but I'm going to have to risk it because that's what it's saying. I need a risk. Come on, break down now. Really good. Let's go, baby. Let's go 400s. Let's flush this lower day and go 400s. So we're looking for 450s gamma, right? I want 400s. 450s gamma. So if you want to play into 450, you can. I'm looking for 400s. Please stop fucking around down here, mate. Get out of the way, you fucking options traders ruining everything as per usual. Just get out of the way. We want Globex low. Go away. Get out our way. Guys, with TPs, I don't look at percentages or anything like that. I don't care about percentages because the market doesn't care about your percentage. It doesn't care about your cash gain. It doesn't care about your percentage. The only thing the market cares about is liquidity. All right. So I take profit into liquidity levels, right? This TP into here had nothing to do with 1R, 2R percentage or anything else. All this had to do with was this block here that they could hold. This next TP down here and here has nothing to do with R gain or percentage or cash. It's to do with gamma exposure, Globex, breakdown. These are liquidity levels. I don't care about percentages. They don't. No hedge funds going, oh, I'll give him a TP when he hits 5. They don't care about that. They don't care about you. They care about them and their liquidity pools, right? So I'm trying to cover into liquidity pools. I'm trying to enter into liquidity pools where people are trapped. That's not me being funny with you. I just want you to understand that. Because when people go, oh, I'm looking for 1R here and 2R here. Well, if there's a liquidity pool before your 1R or 2R that they intend in holding, you're never going to get paid. You're never, ever, ever going to get paid, right? Alex, I just want to say a big thank you for all your wisdom you share. If anyone agrees, let's take a second to honor Alex with a max likes daily record, max daily super chat. Let's go, FCTR. Thank you, man. That's very kind of you. All right, so we're basing down here. I really don't want to see this lift to 505s, but at the moment, if they can't move lower, they might. Ideally, they reject 90s. I really want to see this just flush down and fill all these guys down to 440s and below. But the longer we're here without doing it, the worse it's going to get. We are into the blue box. Come on, 450s and then 400s. Please, market. Please complete the move for me. I really don't want to give any back here on the upside squeeze. Here we go. All right, 450s coming, and then I'm looking for 400s. So 450s, you're there or thereabouts. You just hit 55s. You're there or thereabouts. And I tell you what, I'm not going to let this come over 490s now. If it comes over 490s, I'm out on the runner. I'm not gonna let it come. Here it comes. So it's coming back up towards the 90s. My stop now, in case you can't work out, is at the 90s. So we're coming right into that player. If we pop me, I'm out. My stop is at 90.25. If you want the exact stop, my stop is at 490.25, and I'm looking for a cover into 400 if possible. Okay, will you excuse me while I get a refill of this coffee? My stop is at 490. I'm looking to take out 400, right? 397. So my stop's at 490. I'm looking to take out the lows of Globex. If it knocks me out, that's fine. I can always get back in. I'll be right back and get a coffee. Still not moved. Here we go. Well, it's built out enough liquidity to break now. Here we go. Come on. Just fuck off, options traders. Give me 400. I don't care about your 450. Give me 400. This will make up for that move for that I missed earlier. It's concerning seeing some people in chat. Some genuinely want to learn, while others are just being rude because they can't trade. Expect to be handheld. Yeah, I mean, it's normal, isn't it? It's the thing is, I remember being like that. You're gonna knock me out. I'm out. Knock me out on the squeeze back. I remember being like that, and blaming everyone else. But I also remember the people that I learnt of didn't do what I do here. They would teach me bad techniques. They wouldn't teach me what was going on. They wouldn't even trade live, or some of them would. Some of you will know some of these people. They trade live, and they I'm not going to slag them off. They just trade very bad techniques, and no technique, and it's gambling. And I'm trying to teach you real liquidity here. This is going to be the Alex indicator, isn't it? Where it's going to pop my stop by a couple points and then trade right back down to 400s, isn't it? It's going to be the fucking Alex indicator. Is there a gap on NQ? No, we've filled the gap. we filled the gap. You mean this? We filled that gap. Right, the only thing left really is Globex. All right, and down here, which is previous week low. All right, and then if it really wanted to come down, this is the higher time frame demand. Remember, this is the daily level. I'm going to make sense of this to you guys. All right, what we're looking at. This is an hourly chart. This is your developing weekly profile. All right, this is the previous week, and we can just draw that out, and it's basically the same level for 6 weeks. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right, including this week. All right, so basically 600 to 700 was a very, 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 very big level. If we fail those levels, all right, what have we got in this developing week? We now have, think about this developing week. Why were we short yesterday, right? I wanted to be short Monday into this level to defend. If anyone was here Monday, I said, I'm going to wait for the short, right? We got a piece of it in here or here, I can't remember. I'm very surprised Monday that they did this move, but they did. Why did they do it? Because they said the war was over. They lied. Okay, so we reclaimed range, 6 to 7s, and we came back up 25,002. Then we built out liquidity, all right? Trapped all the buy. Look, it's going to do the Alex indicator. I fucking knew it. Anyway. Every time, man. Then we build out range. High of week. High of week for those who are students was what day? Tuesday. Tuesday was high of week. Funny that. Tuesday was high of week. Then we came in. We rejected trap buyers. We trade downside. This morning we popped in. We reject this same level. We trade down to this liquidity pool. We're now leaving this node here, aren't we? We're leaving 6 and 7. 6 7s. We're coming down towards the 4s, all right? If we leave the 4s, we're going to come back down to 24,000. We're going to do this whole fucking week, right? But we don't really want to be short down here on a Friday. It's very risky. This is your 61 fib, right? That's your 61 fib. So you want to cover in there. Your runners can be here. I won't be adding on here. If we'd done that earlier in the week, I would have considered. But the chance of coming back down here on a Friday now because of this move, not necessarily very high, but the chance of coming into this liquidity pool here was very high, right? Once we rejected 6 7s. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Look, why was I short Monday? Because I wanted us to reject that range. Failed, reclaimed. Trap. Failure. A+ short scenario yesterday pre-market. Today, long back up into it. Didn't quite tag it. Fail. Backside. Short into this. Runners. 400. 24,000. You never know. You never fucking know, mate. You never know. All right, there's Gamma. You've hit Gamma. Gamma wall. Put wall there at 50s. Don't move that, Alex. You're going to need it. Obviously, I'm out of this. I risked 90s. It hit 96s. And you can just sit in this now. Maybe you've taken some off of Gamma. I'd be looking for 400s if I was you. What indicator do I use? It's Flow Zone indicator. Flow Zone Pro. Right here. All right, all your big levels. You can buy it on the website. You get a version of it for free when you do the course. You can upgrade for the pro version. Watched you guys on chat. YouTube doing the same as yesterday, losing people. What's the indicator on the right hand side called? It's not an indicator, it's a tool. It's called anchored volume profile. All right, so I'd be staying short in this now. You are into discount. You're into this area where we found a bid from in Globex. All right, so any of you who took the long in Globex, the best long in Globex was right here, wasn't it? 400 check, RBS. There's your long all the way back up. There's this huge long all the way back up. We're right back down to this level. That's why we're paying ourselves into here, and we're going to see if we can come down into that. All right, but they might be done with it and try and, if they base over here, bid back into here, and if they reclaim that low volume node up here. I'm probably done for the day. It's 20 minutes left, and I've got knocked out of the short continuation, so I don't want to enter short down into higher time frame demand. No way, Jose. $50% profit done on a 25 and 50K end of day in 3 days. Flawless. My basics helped, but your vision of the market's a game changer. Learning so much. Props to you, top tier community. Hey, thanks, man. Alex, the seller's getting caught in this area. Not really. Like, the last big sell was at 59, 100 lot, and we're still under that. Like, not really. I would say sellers are in control right now. If you look at Bookmap above me, it wouldn't get this big. Where's my Bookmap gone? Here we go. All right. Sellers are just piling in here, and at no point have they been squeezed out. All right. If we look at this, all right, from this break, here's the squeeze back towards, remember, 40s and 70s. All right. We squeeze up, buyers caught the high, 300 lot, 100 lot, and then we turn the momentum back down. Look at the negative delta as we come back down, CVD, and we just pile in short. Every pop sold into, and even here, all these pops being sold into. Every single pop, every break, every seller, very much in control. They're looking for 400. Here comes the momentum. So I'd say I'd stay short until you get 400. And if you break 400, I would not rule out a move to 24,000. I know it's saying a lot. I would take most of my profit at 400, and then I just sit in it in case you get it. Like, these sellers are absolutely comfortable right now. There is, you got to ask yourself, would you want to be holding over the weekend as a buyer? All right, we talked about this at the beginning of stream. All right, but these sellers trying to get down into these 400s, these overnight lows. Let's see if there's anyone lower. 350s, 300s. Let's see if there's a big lot anywhere. 200s, there's a big lot. What's at 400 even? Is there anyone? There is a little bit. All right, so there's a chance for this to keep breaking, but definitely into the low 400s. You want to pay yourself like probably 80-90%, if not more. But yeah, they're very much in control, folks. It's just I can't re-enter short now. Look at this print on the tape. It's heavy, right? On the right-hand side, this is your tape. Look at all the red, all right? Heavy, heavy print. There's some buyers trying to come in now, but I would imagine that's probably more market order covering than legitimate buying here. And you're probably going to get a big, heavy print. The moment we dunk under 20 again, you're going to see heaviness come back in. But you're almost there, folks. Like 400 you cover, folks. All right, 400, 397 if you want to be exact. I'm salty. I got knocked out by 8 points for it to do another 100-point puke. All right, I was positioned for it. Maybe I was just too stubborn with the stop a little bit on the runner. I rarely share a comment, but this is a must. This is the first no-nonsense, no BS channel. Clear explanations, reasoning behind technical levels, market structure, complemented by Tape and Dom. Thank you. Thank you, Lynette. I think I said that right. Thank you, mate. All right, you're very close now, so there's a bit of front running. You can see there's a 100 lot bid here at 07s, and then you've got a 125 lot mixed at 400s. You're going to get it, folks. I mean, it's going to happen. It wants to get there. I knew it wanted to get there. I was a little too tight with that stop, trying to play the seller's pain. I probably need to... if I journaled right now, I would probably say, and I think one of you called it the other day, like, you've been using, there's big selling coming in here, you've been using my stop plus 10, 20 points because of volatility. You're probably right. All right, if I'm honest and I reflect, I probably need to give my points because of the volatility, an extra 10, 20 points above, over and under where I think someone's stuck for that volatility. Because how often have you seen me get knocked out recently on my runners? Very often, right? And this, think about where I just got knocked out. Got knocked out. I can't remember where I said it was. Was it 90s? 90s. So I got knocked out here on the runner where I was looking for 400, and you're pretty much there. So I've cost myself 100 points by being a little bit stubborn when my entry was right up here anyway. So I could have afforded to let that drift up. So there's some front running into 400 here. You just hit 402s, very close. There's still liquidity on the book lower. But, you know, if they want to squeeze this up to 460s, they can do. But I would say you're probably going to take these 400s out. It just depends where they want to squeeze up first. Rumo, I'm long at 431 entry point. I'm expecting a sharp pullback to the upside. Well, what's your exit though, my friend? Because this can stay heavy at 460 to 480. I don't think we're done yet. I think you could get yourself caught, but we're in a risk off. As long as you know what you're doing, as long as you've got your entry model, it's not a trade I would take long in downside momentum in a risk off environment, but each to their own. Each to their own. I'm not going to say anything. I think you're trying to catch a knife, but if you've got some reason to get long, kudos to you. As long as you're sticking to your strategy, it's all that matters. You don't have to trade my strategy. Rob, you're the absolute goat. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge with us. I love your streams and the vibes. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for being a positive influence. Here we come. So they're trying to get this breakdown and they're trying to take 400s out. They want to take this orange line out on your screen. And if they take that out on your screen, you're going to come to previous week low down here. And if you take that out, we are pretty thin, all right, on each of the... Look at this. They've put in a new put wall. They've just priced in a new put wall down to 245. So these traders are now in panic mode. They are worried about breaking lower. Here's 400s. Here's 400s. Congrats, everyone. And you can just hold now. Just laugh and hold. Pay yourself 80, 90%. Close your eyes and let it do whatever it's got to do on your last final contracts. But we've absolutely clapped this. Here we go. I'm happy for you. I'm just very upset with myself. There's Globex. There you go. So there's the reaction off Globex. Funny that orange line instantly bid up. So everyone covered into 400. Everyone was looking for the trade I was looking for. There you go. Anyone with common sense is looking for the exact trade I was looking for. That's everyone going, get me out. This is where I wanted. Out, 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 out. Right back up to that shelf, the grey box. Why was 400 such a key level? Look at your overnight low. Look at your pivot from Monday. Right, so where was our overnight low? Right here. Right, Globex traders got long here. Grind, 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 grind. Into previous day value area high. Failure to follow through. Underneath, underneath. Into this liquidity. All right, it doesn't mean it can't move lower. It's just anyone with any sense who got short where we were getting short is covering most of their money here because that is liquid. Remember earlier someone asked about percentage of stop loss or percentage gains, and I said I don't care about that. I care about liquidity. There's only so much liquidity. All right, if we think about this, hear me out here. All right, understand how this works. If you're a buyer here, right, if you're a buyer here, your stop is there. Correct? Right? We all just agree. If you're a big buyer here, your stop is here. Right? So what's your stop? It's a sell. All right? If you're a buyer here, you're a seller here. Right? If we're a seller anywhere up here and we need to cover into that, what's your cover? It's a buy. All right? So there's only so much liquidity being produced as a sell that we can pair off as a buy. All right? So we need to pair off, all right? Or when I say we, market makers, big institutions better pair off into liquidity. Otherwise, they're going to get caught because there's not enough liquidity for them to get out of their position. So there's a rush to cover into that. It doesn't mean it can't go lower, but there's a rush to get at least a good chunk of profits out into that level. Now, the next level of liquidity, previous week low. And the next one under that, I'd say, is 24,000. I know they've got a gamma level here, but it's 24,000. And if we go back to do 15-minute to Sunday to Monday, we can have a look at these levels, all right? So the next level, under 400, right, under 400 here, will be into these lows here, 350s, 300s, 240s,
and then right back down to 24,000. This can still move lower. I'm not saying this can't move lower, but it's very common to cover into a liquidity pool. That's why we mark these out. That's why understanding higher time levels is absolutely vital. Remember, we're only doing business when we're shaking hands. When are we shaking hands? When buyers and sellers transact. So if we are an aggressive seller looking to cover, we need someone to cover into. We need someone to be a buyer here, a seller here, so we can cover into them. That's the partner. That's the pair off. That's why stop runs happen, whatever you want to call it. Liquidity sweep, stop run, blah, 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 blah. It's all just where we transact and do a lot of business. Yeah, ES still not hitting Globex. You're right. You're absolutely right. You've got further to come. If ES wants to do it, all right, you've got to get down into 40s. You are at a gamma level here at 55s, right? This is all they've priced in so far. So once you get under that, you go into 40s. Once you get under that, there is the next gamma level, 6605 on ES, 50 points lower. But like I said, you should have paid yourself into this, and then you just close your eyes. If you were short from all the way up here, you can wait and see what you get. As long as you've paid yourself most of your money. Alex, you're spot on. So glad I found your channel. I appreciate the knowledge and how you teach share. You're welcome, man. Alex, 2. Is volume training in the beginner advanced course? If not, do we get the Discord and volume course? I want volume and Discord and can't buy both courses. Volume, there is some volume stuff in the beginner course, but not in terms of like order flow and stuff like that. It's only in the volume and order flow course. Discord only comes with the beginner to advanced course. I know people might get upset with that. It's for good reason, folks. Like I said, it's because we trade certain ways, certain methodologies, certain reasonings for trade come from the beginner and to advanced course. Order flow gives you extra edge on those, right? So big push up, they will look to recover here, and if they snap underneath this, then you're gonna look for previous week lows on these runners. So 350s is the next level. So if you didn't cover on that first attempt into here, you should be taking some now, but we're still staying heavy versus what? Grey box. What's this node? Right? Where did we break down from? This is S, B, R, right? Support became resistance. We're still breaking down. We're still in a channel down. There's no reason to be a buyer yet. There's a squeeze, sold back into. The squeeze was because everyone covered. Now we can see if we can break down here. You can keep holding for all these levels. You can keep holding the runners for all these levels until we break above and base. And even then, we might see this. Right? We might well build out a liquidity pool in the afternoon here. But we are risk off right now. There's no doubt about it. No, gamma's got nothing to do with my flow zones. I pay for this indicator. I use Tunaki. There's lots you can use. If you don't want Tunaki, you can use like unusual whales. They have one called Tide. You can use Cheddar Flow. There's loads and loads and loads you can use. It's up to you what you want to use. But like I said, I post these in Discord. You don't like if you're in the community. I post them in Discord every day. So does Indy. We post them each day across NQ, QQQ, VIX, and SPY. We post all the key levels. It's so funny when people say that. Does the indicator draw the grey boxes? The indicator doesn't draw any box. I draw the grey boxes because it's based on developing profile. I've been trading for over 20 years and Alex is the best teacher bar none on YouTube. Thank you, man. Meant for Q, yeah. Meant for Q is another really good one. Really good. Like it's just horses for courses, right? The levels are the same thing. It's just whichever one you prefer, whichever one you can get a good deal on, I guess. What do I mean by their front running? Okay, so if everyone who's smart knows that this is the liquidity pool to cover in, all right?
if they're all short from higher, as we get closer to this, they start covering because they know there's limited availability of liquidity. So that's why you see these wiggles before we get there, because people are smart, right? They want to. It's like when I say don't be a dick for a tick, right? It's the same as saying front running. Like if we're that close, right, pay yourself, right? If we're that close, pay yourself, right? Pay yourself some, hold your runners. Maybe you get this, maybe you get this, maybe you get this. Certainly don't be short down here. Certainly don't be buying down here. There's no trade now. The trades were up here, weren't they? We were long this morning for this. I had one long attempt here. It failed. We cut. I left this whole thing to travel down. I had one more long attempt here for a squeeze. I took a BE on this. So I took a partial and a BE on this. And then once we lost this, we were short, short, short. Okay. So this was a build out this morning. Once we lose this, we're short. Was willing to play both sides. And again, we talked about this. This isn't like new. This is what we're looking for this morning. Okay. If dips held this, which is what happened overnight, and we print upside, oh, I've got to come down here. It's the wrong one. Here we go. All right. So dips for here up to, look at this, up to previous week point of control. This is the first move we had this morning, right? We were long for this squeeze up, previous week point of control. The dips then didn't hold, right? We started to see this wash. Where are we now? What's this? Gray box. Fade under gray box, get stuck, down to blue box, down to the 400s. All right. This was planned out before. What's this? Gray box to 400s, gray box to 400s. All right. This is this part of the move. This is what we had this morning. That's move one. That's move two. I try to avoid in here. I try and leave these alone. There was an opportunity here or here. This is the main move now. All right. Planned out beforehand. This is like, I can't tell you enough the importance of having a plan and sticking to it. It will stop you looking for other things. All right. It's like, I don't know, some of you are old enough to have maps before GPS, right? Maps before GPS, right? You're driving somewhere and you write it all down. Okay, at this junction we go right, and then we get here and we go left, and at this junction we go straight forward, and then we're going to take a pit stop for a bit and have a snack because we're going to be tired. That's the market, all right? If you planned out to go left at that junction and you decide to go right, well, guess what? You're going to get lost and go the wrong way. That's why we make plans and stick to them. All right, so sub 400 now, and now you're looking for 352s, 245s, and 24,000. All right, but like I said, you should have paid yourself most of the money. If they want to support the bid down here and trap bears down here, they will. You should have paid yourself a good chunk of the money now. We are starting to see some absorption take place down here. They are attempting to absorb the tape down here. They're not doing a great job, but they are attempting to absorb the tape. 2 minutes left to lunch. How are we doing for the likes? Can we get some giveaways going? We'll do some fun giveaways today. If we're doing well on the likes, we'll do some fun giveaways. Right, let's set a record. Let's get another like 200-300 likes. And I'll tell you what, we'll change it up today. Today, so I'm feeling kind, we'll do a course giveaway and we'll do a lucid giveaway instead of Apex. We'll do a lucid giveaway today. I'm sure lots of you like trading with lucid. I love lucid. We'll do a lucid giveaway. Alex, so if aggressive sellers are at, where's that gone? Are at the lows, we want price below, not to reclaim. Correct. Correct. If aggressive sellers, right, think about this. If they are aggressively selling down here, right, and price doesn't move lower, what happens when their stops get run? All right, you get squeezes. You get squeezes back up. All right, so if there's aggressive sellers at lows, you need to be below price. Same as this, right? Let me... Right. Did we get any aggressive buyers at the highs on the 5 minute? No, not really. All right, but anyone who aggressively bought up here today is currently stuck. Now, I don't know why I'm not seeing much. This buyer here, it's stuck. He's not very big. To be honest, it's just been heavy tape. These are where we start to break down. So you can see these guys where we had like thousands or hundreds of lots come in. This is why I said 70 to 40 had to stay heavy. This was the trade we took, remember? Because I missed this pop, right? This trade here into these aggressive sellers where these buyers here get stuck. So they try and buy against these sellers and guess what? Clapped, right? Then we get 100 lot seller at this low. Right here at 60, and we're under him. So we're continuing to drift under him. Now, here, we've seen aggressive sellers at these lows, at 408s and under. So if we hold over 408s, we would expect to squeeze up to 460 to test this guy. If we get over 460, we're going to test 480. If we get over that, we're going to test 490. If we get over that, we're going to test value. And if we get through that, we're going to be right back into where these sellers got aggressive, right? So these sellers right here have the chance to get stuck. We have seen some absorption at the lows, but you would need price to hold above 407s for these sellers to remain stuck. Remember, that's only a little bit of liquidity. The liquidity has been above. For me, I wouldn't be a buyer in a market like this, but yes, if you're thinking about the continuation, right, 407s, right, sellers under here are underwater. We can come and test this if they stay stuck. Right, and I would say 60. 60 is the level, right? So if these 407s stay stuck, they will cover and we'll move to 60, which is starting to happen now. Hopefully that makes sense. That's how we use people's pain. For me, I'd try not. This is the hardest trade in the book. Yes, you're into higher time frame demand. Yes, you've taken out Globex, all these things. But this, right, is a counter trend play, isn't it? This is a much harder trade than this, right? This is a harder trade because it can be very short-lived, or if you're Jerome Powell, short-lived. Short-lived, it's short-lived, whatever word that is. Okay, so here's the test towards 460s that we just talked about, right? And if they get through 460s, then you're going to see a lift to 480s. And if you get through that, you're going to see a lift to 508, 514s. Oh, fucking SMT this. No. Like, no. No. SMT doesn't trigger anything. Liquidity triggers stuff. Well, all SMT is, all you're saying is that NQ's got relative weakness. It doesn't trigger something. Well, in my mind, you do what you want. In my mind, it doesn't trigger anything. Okay, you're not asking. Yeah, you're telling me. Okay. So what happens if this makes a new low? What did SMT trigger? Did it trigger what? I don't get why you would take a long based on another index not making a level, but I get a long versus 407 because sellers are trapped. I don't get a long based on ES hasn't taken out liquidity yet. That doesn't make sense to me, but anyway, as long as it works for you, it doesn't matter. I just can't get my head around how one index not taking a level makes sense for it to go higher. But especially are you trading NQ long? So you're trading relative weakness higher. I mean, I think there's a long here versus 407s. I just don't think it's got anything to do with ES not taking a level out. But it's each to their own, I guess. Whatever. As long as it works for you, it doesn't matter, does it? All right, let's set up some. All right, let's give away Lucid account. Just type FCT once in chat, please. Remember, the Apex sale, by the way, finishes tonight at midnight. And we give away a 50k Lucid account here. So just type it once in chat and we'll pick a winner. Give you guys a couple minutes to do that, or at least a minute. What a nice way to end the week, though. Shame I got knocked out, but it's still good. Sado, I just got your email. That's awesome, man. Finally received my payout after 1 month. Wouldn't have been possible without you taking the time to assist me. You're welcome, man. I'm glad we got you sorted. That's awesome. Glad we got to the bottom of that. There was just a backlog, I think, but I'm glad we got it sorted for you. All right, let's pull this winner. Some of you are spamming. You've been pulled out. Like loads of you are spamming. I can't make sense of it. You're getting pulled out for spamming. It literally pulls you out automatically. All right, 3, 2, 1. Winner is D and I don't know how you spell what that word is. Diane Dupont. Maybe it's French. Dion Dupont. What a great surname. That's best rugby player of all time. Dean Dupont or Diane Dupont. Are you here, my friend? Dean Dupont. Are you the younger brother of the greatest 9 of all time? You're here. Nice. I'm going to make a note of your name. And we will sort you out with a free Lucid account, my friend. Congratulations. He'll put England to the sword tomorrow. I bet he will. I mean, England are absolute shite. And the team that they're picking looks worse and worse. I mean, the same as last week. I can't believe the guys that they're leaving out. The back line is so bad. I mean, anyone who plays, I don't understand the back line being picked. I cannot get my head around the 12-13 axis. It's been terrible the whole time. He puts a Jomo in, and we have some fluidity, and he's never played him since. Man of the match, we get fluidity, we get someone who's got, like, you know, upside vision and can put a hit in and can distribute, and then he never plays him again. I mean, what a cretin. Yeah, of course, been watching the Six Nations, been screaming. Itoje's definitely not past it, mate. He's not past it. He's burnt out, though. You've got to understand, right? This is a Lions year, all right? As in, this is the year after Lions. Players that play Lions frequently burn out. Itoje's played too many games for too long, and he's just lost his mum. It's just too much. He just needs a rest. They should have rested him a bit longer, I think. He's still a human being. I mean, anyone that thinks you can have 2 or 3 or 4 weeks and get over the death of your mum, you're asking too much. And he's burnt out. He's completely burnt out. Completely burnt out. I feel for him, man. I think it's just too much pressure. Way too much pressure. And the media just turn on people like that so quick. Look how they did Faz dirty. He had to leave the country because he got so sick of it. One of our greatest rugby players of all time just leaves because they do him dirty. Yeah, Luna's great now. Thanks, Raf. She's doing great. France to win, Ireland to win, Italy to win. Who wins if that happens? If Ireland win, if Ireland beat Scotland, they win the Six Nations, right? Yeah, I watch cricket as well. I haven't watched much of the recent stuff. Haven't watched anything since the Ashes, to be honest. Since I got absolutely destroyed watching the Ashes. It was just straight up depressing. The most depressing thing ever. Scotland looked great. Amazing how quickly you turn it around, right? Everyone calling for Gregor to leave, and they've just been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane since, right? We'll do one more giveaway here. Right, just type course once, and we'll give away an introduction course to trading. I mean, your fucking SMT is working out. I mean, I can't deny it. It's working out. I don't think we're moving higher because of SMT. I think we're moving higher because of the sellers caught at the lows. But like I said, if it works for you, I think we're moving higher because these sellers are caught down here and we saw absorption versus 07s, and then they tried to sell 27s, and then we're right back into this 100 lot. And if we squeeze over this guy, you're going to get 80s and 500s, and then if you get through this, we're going to come up to all the way up to 550s. I don't think we're moving higher because of the divergence, but if that is your indicator and it works, I cannot deny that this is a cracking trade for you, my friend, whoever that was. I don't think that's why it's happening, but it's happening. It's happening, and I hope you're killing it. Like I said, you don't have to trade like me. If it works for you, it works for you. But geez Louise, it's the 07s, which is why we're moving higher. Austin Trader, who wants to be long, who wants to be short? Yeah, well, it depends where you're short from, though, doesn't it? It really depends where you're short from, my friend. Like, if I was a short seller and I'm a swing short seller from 25 200, I'm quite happy staying short over the weekend. I'm not comfortable being long, right? If we're zooming out here for a second, I'm way more comfortable. If you were a short seller at high of week, right, I'm way more comfortable sitting in sells over the weekend, right? The chance of gapping up over your entry point here is very, very limited. The chance of gapping down is bigger. The chance of gapping into range can also happen, but it's very unlikely you take out your stops. It's much more likely that we gap down and take out stops, or gap in range and don't take out stops. So I'd be more comfortable as a swing short seller, all right, for all the guys who entered up here, they're much more comfortable to hold over the weekend than a buyer who's now leaving this range. Think about this range up here. We left this range, failed to reclaim. This range here, we've left this range today, we failed to reclaim. This is looking more and more likely right now. Can change. Just right now, what I'm seeing right now is looking far more likely. Okay, here's the sell versus this node. There's the sell versus the node, and we're right back down to the 07s. And if they get under 07s, you're going to see a new low. There's the sell versus the node. Same level, right? We talked about this earlier. SBR. They just sold that node. It's a drift higher, and you're right back. Look at this. Right back to 07s. It's not SMT, it's the 07s. Why I said 07s. Look at that low. 07s. Anywho. So let's pull this winner. 3, 2, 1. Henry Wu 3744. Henry Wu 3744. 007, yeah, my favorite. That is my favorite. Bond aficionado. I absolutely love it. Reminds me of my grandpa. Good memories. Watched every Bond there is. I even had the No Time to Die watch. That's how much of a loser I am. And I think a guy that I know, Callum, is about to get the new bond roll. I think he is about to get the new bond roll. Happy for him. No worries, Henry. All right, so beginner, like introduction beginner course, 2-hour course on the way to you. It will give you a discount of the main courses if you want to do it. If you already know how to trade, you can always just give it to a friend. It's only 2 hours long. It's totally up to you. But I've made a note of your name. Just like with Dean DuPont, what I need you guys to do is send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into YouTube. That's all you've got to do. And then you're set. You have the Seamaster from the last Bond movie. The same one as me, No Time to Die. That's what I have. The No Time to Die Seamaster. The brown one. That's exactly what I have. Or do you mean from the one before? Do you mean the, what do they call it? The Spectre one. Do you mean the 300M black one? Yeah, but like Daniel Craig was so good, and you're right, everyone got funny about it. The flush got bought up. I mean, they covered the 07s because they know anyone that's shorted there, look, anyone that's playing order flow that's shorting here is covering into 07s and then holding a runner. I'm just going to teach you this now, and then I'm going to get out of here. Anyone who understands that this level here is important, right? So we drift into this level. They got short here. Where are they covering? They are covering into here, right? Into where these sellers got stuck, because in case they front run, where we last saw absorption at 12:05, right? They're covering into this level. So they are short from here to here. And anyone who's adamant on getting long is long from here to here and not beyond that. But the trend is still down, right? There's a pop-up, sold into this liquidity pool, sold into these trap sellers, trap buyers, sold against these big sellers, covered into the 07s in case they hold, holding a runner just in case they want to break down to the next level, right? But we can go sideways and build liquidity. Look how thick we're getting in here now. Getting very, very thick. But these 07s are important for that reason. It's no different to why we covered into Globex. There's only so much liquidity. It's exactly the same story, right? It's exactly the same story. What am I using on NT8? Why can I never remember what it's called? Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. No, it's not part of Bookmap. Bookmap's above me. New sub here, requesting a max payout on my funded future across 550Ks. Money's going to the course first and then skill up. Thanks for have a blessed weekend, fam. Congratulations on the max payout, man. So what's that, like 10 grand or something? Alex, I currently made 2,500 on Alpha Futures Zero plan. This is my third day though. I don't know if there's a consistent rule on the eval stage, but is there a rule regarding minimum to trade? I have no idea, mate. I've never traded with Alpha. I have zero idea at all. You're welcome, Stephanie. Alex, what is your reason for not playing the range when you call it going back and forth between ranges you pointed out? Because I like to stick to pro trend. All right. So I try wherever possible to stick to a pro trend. I try and play traders pain, not and on higher time frames. So the trend this morning, if we think about this is what we'd built out this morning. All right. So I was willing to be long in the hold and break up here towards previous week point of control. All right. And I would have liked that. I was willing to look for these moves here. So here to here, and I was willing, if it wanted to break and hold, to play that. Once we lose this, and certainly this, right, then we have a liquidity sweep of this. We've taken the stops. We've trapped buyers at the highs who don't take profits. We get stuck. We're now in downside potential to come back for this, right? So I let them chop around, and then we attack lower, lower, lower. Now we cover most. And if they want to complete this, they can come down. They really want to do it, they can come down. They might do what they did last week, is doing nothing on Friday, and then we open up down here. Exactly what they did last week. It would literally be pretty much identical to last week. Last Friday, did we do that move? No, hang on. Oh, that was Monday. Last Friday, we closed at 652. We opened up Sunday right where we are now, and then we sold off right down to 400s. All right, so I try not to play in liquidity building stages of markets. I try and play where someone's stuck. I try not to play in the liquidity building stage, because the most probable stage to get chopped up in is the liquidity building stage. The easiest trade to take is when one side is stuck, and the easier trade is the pro trend trade. So when one side, any buyer in here who's stuck, after we've left the build out of liquidity, it's easier to trade this way down. Much easier to trade that than it is to trade this and this and this. Even though I can see where it might want to go, this is messy. These, why do you think I get 100-point trades? I mean, this should have been a monster and I got stopped out. I can't remember if I missed it. I can't remember. And this, why do you think I get those? Because I let the liquidity build. I let the liquidity build, right? I let the liquidity build. All right, that's why I'm not playing for 10 points or whatever other people are doing. That's why. Hopefully that makes sense. Promo code for City. Yeah, I'll post it here for you. It doesn't get you a lot off, guys. They don't do discounts. I think it gets you, it might be 5% or even less. It's very, very small, to warn you. Trying to find the link for you. Give me a second. There's the Twin Peaks link. Last few questions here then, folks, and I'm going to get out. Referral code for Bookmap. I think it's also FCT. I'm going to try and do a video on that next week on Bookmap. Yeah, Apex is 1 day to pass now. Correct. Alex, I thought the bubbles you were looking at was Bookmap. I'm new to this. It's on both, man. It's just, there's different ways of digesting order flow, but it's on both, right? So if I'm using Footprint, if I'm using the Twin Peaks thing, if I'm using Bookmap, it's all the same. It's just order flow. It doesn't matter. They're just different ways of viewing it. It doesn't matter which screen you're looking at. It's the same way. I have both up because when I'm reading volume Footprint, right, I can't see what's happening inside the candle. I can just see where the delta's exposed. When I'm reading Bookmap, I can see it in the second, right? Because it's done on ticks. Don't worry, Duke. It's okay. It's automatic. It does that. Can I share my volume settings on the right? If you just read Nightbot, it tells you it. But yeah, I have it on 2 ticks. I anchor it to the 930. I have it set to a width of 20, and I have it set to the right hand side. If mine looks different to yours, it's because I have the premium edition of TradingView, so it uses tick data. What do I think of how the market will play out the rest of the day? It really depends what they want to do with it. Like, if they build sufficient liquidity here and they want to go risk off, right? If they build sufficient liquidity here or here and they want to go risk off, then I think we take out previous week low and come down into these, right? If they're adamant on pinning it for the weekend and leaving it for a gap, then we might just rotate in here for a bit, right? And pin it in here. So for me, it depends. Do they want downside pressure or are they just going to rotate in here for the rest of the day? I don't know what they're going to do, but I know we're in a sell high time frame right now. I also know we're into a very, very, very key level down here into 400. No, I don't use pitchforks or anything like that, buddy. No, nothing like that for me. the Tyson trade here, the measured move. I think you've had the measured move on the Tyson trade for the expansion model. There you go. Talked about it earlier, right? There's the expansion model. You had 100% measured move of it already. If they're going to get really aggressive, you're going to get a 300%. It's asking a lot, but it's possible. Tyson, by the way, absolute legend. I don't know if I can say it here, but he bought a very nice custom number plate yesterday. And guess what it said? IB to VWAP. I absolutely fucking love that. What an absolute legend. Best number plate ever. Question, Alex. Flowzone System Pro Trading View. I just bought this. Do I get the indicator? If you bought it, yeah, just log into the back end and it will tell you what to do. And I'll provide the indicator for you. You'll have to email me. It'll tell you what to do if you log in, and I'll set you up. Matthew, if you're long, we go way lower. Well, that's the thing with the SMT. That's what I mean. I don't understand. For me, look, it was working for you, but for me, I don't understand. I get that there's divergence, but like we're heavy in a sell market. The only thing propping this up is the trap buyers at 07. The moment you get under 07, we do move a lot lower because we are still rejecting 70s, right? But like I said, each their own. But I can't understand why you would be long in something with relative weakness. I'm assuming you were long in Q, unless it was a scalp versus 07s. Like if you were playing 07s to 70s, I get it. But to think about a full mean reversion reversal, it doesn't make sense to me yet. How are we only down 125 points? Because we only closed here. Your cash gap's here, right? Because this was your gap up. We gapped up, we filled the gap, now we're moving down. That's why. Right, last few questions. 200 EMA. I mean, for me, we're already there, right? We're well below the 200-day SMA for me now on NQ. Where are we at with it on QQQ? Move you guys over so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, for me, we're below the 200-day SMA. Where are we on QQQ? Yeah, so you're watching QQ. There you go. 590 is big for QQQ. Spiders, where's the 200 on spiders? Are we below it already? Still got room to go. So 660s, maybe an overshoot to 58s. Are we under it on the ES? Under it on the ES as well. I think we break lower. What about the SPX? Getting close. Look at that, 660s. And that's a big level. We get under that, and this market's in big, 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 big trouble. Big trouble. Especially if these start to cross down here. Might see a little reaction and one of these. Wouldn't surprise me at all. With the new Apex accounts, keep telling me to turn on order flow on NT8. Can't seem to figure out how to do that. Did you log into? You might need to log into Tradeify. I assume Apex have now gifted that. Log into Tradeify and turn it on. There's a video on my YouTube on how to do that. First time here. This is beyond everything I've ever seen in years. Do you offer educational courses? Yeah, I do. Like I said, if it's your first time here, I'd go through everything for free on YouTube. Right, on my YouTube. Make sure you like how I teach and stuff like that. If you like how I teach, then there's a link at the top, or you can just go flowzonetrader.com and look at those courses. But make sure, if it's your first time here, make sure you like how I teach. Otherwise, you're going to spend money and you might be like, I don't like this guy. I don't like his accent. I don't like how he educates. I'm not interested. I don't want you to waste money. Right, but if you do, they're on my website. what makes me interested in specific zones? Just higher time frame liquidity areas, right? So like this blue area, right, is a big area from earlier in the week. Look, here's our node, right? We knew it wanted to trade down here. Let's look at what Alex was thinking about earlier in the week. If we come up to Alex's levels, right, this week, right, let's go up to Mondays. Where's Monday? All right, so this was Monday. I was looking for a push and a wash under these levels. Is that Monday? I'm going to try and find it. 9th, I can't remember what day is what now. Yes, here we go. So, no, is that the week before? I'm losing sight here. Here we go. Right, so here's the crack. Here's the move down to 8s. And once we lose the 8s, we're looking for the move lower into 7s. And if we lose that, we're looking for lows, right? So here we go. This move here. And these are the same things we've looked at all week long, right? Into 4s, because these is how we developed. Look at this, right? Look at this profile. 4s. We're losing 7s and 8s. We're coming to 4s. So it's how we've developed volume this week. Even previous week, it was notable down there, right? This is what we looked for today. This was today's call. If we hold grey box, we push up and we look for previous week point of control. We can see we can fail into previous week point of control, which is where we did fail today. If we find acceptance through it, we had the chance to push up to 9s. We failed to reclaim. We failed grey box. Where are we going? 400, blue box from developing week. Everything is guided out from higher time frame. Maybe you missed all that. Did I have that on the wrong screen? Yeah. Right. Everything is guided out from higher time frame. Put this down. This was trade 1 today. Dip, hold into previous week point of control. This was trade 2. Under grey box, down into 400. Higher time frame node, right? Developing value. This was a big area where we have found bids before, where we found a bid Sunday, Monday, right? We expect the market to hold here. If we break underneath and reject, then we keep trading lower, all right? If we hold and reclaim, we go back into value for the week. Back into value for this week and the last fucking 6 weeks. Right? This right here. We don't want to do that. We want to move away from this level. AGC, thank you very much. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate that. I'm not a beginner trader. I'm an order flow for 4 years, so I assume just buy the advanced course. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe you don't need it. If you've been trading order flow for 4 years, like, maybe you don't need the order flow course. I can't tell you, my friend. I'm sorry. It's whatever suits you. You might not need to buy anything. Don't buy it if you don't need it. Don't spend money if you don't need to spend money. Do I trade gold? No, I pretty much stick to NQ on this channel, unless it's swing positions. You're still in a QQQ short since 612. QQQ. Oh wow, fantastic, man. Just I'll let you know. There's not much else here. So 595 is your level. All right, and you're starting to reclaim it. You did wash your pre-market low already. If you get acceptance under pre-market low, 590s. But I'd be I would have paid myself if I was you. Not all of it necessarily, but I would have paid myself a chunk. Unless you're looking for a swing. If you're looking for a swing and a gap down, that's cool. I understand. Oh, you will be looking for a swing because you're short from 612s. Hang on a minute. Oh my God, what a beauty. You're short from the top. Beautiful. So you're looking for gap down over weekend. Nice, man. Congratulations. That's a killer short, Fib Trader. Alex, when a move is happening like a short and a larger order comes in of sellers, how do you know the difference between the ad supporting the move or being trapped and seller's reversal? Because I'm watching to see what happens, right? If we're adding, right? If they're adding down here at 407s and we're not moving lower, right? Then there's no continuation, is there? Right? If they're adding down here, that's why you don't like shorting lows. But if they're adding up here, if buyers are coming up here and we see buyers get trapped and we see sellers absorbing and then we see sellers get aggressive, that's help for continuation. It's not about the order that comes in, right? It's about what happens with that order, right? It's not about, find it. It's not about these orders, these huge orders that comes in, right? It's not about these orders that comes in. It's about what happens. Do we see absorption here? No. We break away. We break away from that level. So these guys are comfortable. We break away. So when we return back in, anyone who is waiting for the short who didn't get filled, well, we should defend. If you remember this earlier in the day, we talked about this. We should defend 45s to 70s, right? We look at that high right in front of 70s. We defend 45s to 70s. So what do? That's your short position, because buyers come in here. Think about the difference here. Sellers came in here, we move away. Buyers come in here. What happens? Do we move above these buyers? Do we move above these buyers? No. These buyers become the liquidity. We pair off and sell into them. Thanks very much. Continuation. All right. That's what you want to see. Big sell, return back in, buyer stuck, move away. That's your continuation play. That's telling you we want to move lower. Right. So it's not necessarily just the liquidity. It's what happens with that liquidity. I hope that makes the most sense. I'm trying to explain that best way possible for free. What platform is that? It was just NinjaTrader. But you can use any platform. The platform's irrelevant. Do I think a gap down at weekend's possible? Yeah, sure. So is a gap up though, right? I can't predict it. I can't predict it, but if we have any rising tensions, if another oil tanker gets blown to pieces, you know, if there's any form of hit on anything else, probably a gap down. If we come out, if comes out and says, I don't know, strike, we're the best, it's over, I'm the best, we got everything we needed out of it. I don't know what everything we needed out of it was, because no one fucking knows why we're there. We've done everything, we're done with it. Then, you know, maybe we get a gap up. Maybe they go risk on. I expect oil prices to come to zero now. Yeah, whatever, dick. But who fucking knows? Like, he can do and say whatever he wants. Like, the market's gonna react to it. Maybe he does what he did this time last year. Do you remember what he did this time last year? Now's a great time to buy the stock market. The most insider shit you've ever fucking seen in your life. Now's a great time to buy. Buy. Fucking, it wouldn't surprise me, folks. Can you imagine? He does this. You know, he's increased his wealth by like 3x in the last 18 months. It wouldn't surprise me at all. We got everything we needed, which was for me to get rich and buy cheap. You idiots. I bought your pain. You made me rich. It would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, God. So good. So good. The best was, I mean, it's really not funny. When they questioned him about the bombing of the school and the girls, he went, you know, Iran has the same they have ballistic missiles. They're not very good. And then they came out yesterday. Sir, there's evidence to show that in the first investigation, it was America that killed these women and children. I know nothing about that. Oh, really? 2 days ago, it was Iran. Now you know nothing. It's mental. This world that we're dealing with is so sad. We can laugh about it and joke, but it is bonkers what's going on in this world. Enough killing already, man. Just, why have we not learned? We're still like cavemen, honestly. It's so bad. So bad.
All right. I'm out of here, folks. I wish you all a fantastic weekend. All right. I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Just as a reminder, the newsletter is free. We go over all these levels in the newsletter. We go over what we're looking for the week ahead, why we moved the week before, the big movers, the big earners, the big macro scenarios you need to be aware of. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. There you go. Nightbot literally just posted it as a link there. Sign up for it. It costs you nothing. It will be in your inbox tomorrow morning. Have you prepared for the week ahead? I wish you well. I wish you a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, Apex Sale finishes tonight, midnight Eastern time. Your last chance to get 85% off on all the new accounts. And I'll see you Monday. All right, get off the screens, do all that fun stuff. Do not get addicted to these screens. We've had some fantastic moves already today. Maybe some of you are sitting in the short. Maybe some of you are looking for that reversal. I don't know what you're doing, but I am done. Time to have some fun and get to the gym, and maybe I'll even have a few beers tonight. All right, peace and love, everyone. Be safe, be kind to each other. Don't spread hate, spread love, Pete. Peace.